Hello everyone, welcome. We're back from RuneFest, a glorious weekend, it has to be said, for everyone in the office, and back with a bang. We've updated our monitors behind us with some pretty fancy key arts in relation to the big announcements. Of course, the new skill being Archaeology.
Yes,
we
finally get to talk about it.
A 2-hour mega stream where we're going to go through pretty much everything we talked about on the reveals keynote, but instead of it being a bit more top line, we get to dive in. We have some of the developers responsible for each project with us.
Oh. It doesn't work.
Mod Osborne to my left, Mod Rally to my left, Mod Ryan to my right, and Mod Iago to my right as well. We are where the broadcast link took people to the Jagex channel. I do apologise for that. I have messaged someone to see if we can do anything about that. So yeah, we are aware of that. But yeah, before we do it, we have to talk about RuneFest, of course. How did you guys all find it?
Yeah, well, we got to finally talk about Archaeology, which has been a very, very long time coming, so that was really nice. But overall, yeah, it was really good, not just Archaeology, the rest of the announcements. It was nice to talk about those. It's just really good atmosphere this year.
Yeah. Thoroughly exhausted. I'm just waiting for the moment where the contract hits me. I can feel it. I reckon I'm riddled with disease, I know it.
How was, because you guys had a little special area, of course, during RuneFest, and the volcano.
That was very loud.
How was that, out of curiosity? So, I mean, just from people coming and stuff.
My ears no longer working. It was really good. From like minute 1 till pretty much the end of the day, it was just rammed, all 8 computers were full.
Got some great feedback. People seem to really like it, so it was really encouraging, especially since, like we said, we've been working on it for so long now.
Yeah, I mean, you guys collectively known as the team called Fate, you guys have essentially been under the radar, plugging away at the skill. And for those who watch the stream and may not be aware, just a quick intro for you three. I know you were on stage obviously at RuneFest rally, but I guess just a quick catch up for anyone who may be watching this, because it has been a while since we've had you on these streams. So I think a quick little re-intro, as it were. We okay to start with you, Iago?
Sure. So I'm Mod Iago, or also known as Mod Lago. Yeah, I've been here at Jagex for about 2.5 years now, and working on Archaeology with the team since we kicked off the project.
So
really.
Half your time here has been Archaeology?
Nah, just a little less.
Yeah, I mean, it's been about a year and 2 months, I think.
Yeah.
On Archaeology now, so yeah. It worked on various other projects with like Ryan, which is like deep sea fishing. Worked on Hall of Memories, Solak with Mod Ramen. Yeah, there's quite a big list in the years I've been here. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm Mod Ryan. I'm a content developer, and I've been here now for about 3 and a bit years in development. Worked on a bunch of projects. Can't really name that many that I can think of, but
All of Memories, Deep Sea
All of
Fishing.
Memories, Deep Sea Fishing.
Invention tools for fire making and
Invention
sniffing?
tools, bunch of skilling outfit stuff, stalker creatures. There's a load of projects, I'm sure. But yeah.
I think the wiki have got you covered there in regards to what you do. I
The
believe.
wiki actually say I've worked on 2 projects, I think.
Only 2?
Yeah, no.
Ah, no, we need to update
correct
that.
yeah.
Need to update that.
Correct my own wiki. That's all right.
And
Yeah, well, I'm Mod Rowley. I'm like part of the furniture around here, I think.
Everybody sat on him.
Yeah. It's because I'm squishy. I've worked on a few, lesser known projects, things like Prehistoric, the Ark, Menopause, for its sins,
lesser known.
Invention. I'm being faux modest.
That's like the quest, isn't it?
But yeah, this is the longest form project I've had the pleasure to work on. It's been fantastic so far.
Awesome. Right, let's jump into this. So the way we're going to do this for you all here, if you didn't watch the keynote, and you can watch it back on YouTube or on our Twitch channel, we have, in essence, the keynote presentation that we used on Saturday. So you can see these slides pretty much in their entirety, because I know most of the time, of course, we're at the camera on stage, you couldn't really see it properly. Yeah. So we have them, but also we're going to use this as an opportunity to kind of rattle off these sections. We have members of the team here. There are more of them. We couldn't quite get them all on, but we have members of the team here. So we're just going to get talking about Archaeology. And I should mention, we're not going to get through everything in regards to Archaeology. It is a massive skill, and we have many streams in the future that I'm sure we'll end up covering more things to do with the skill as well. So if we're all good, John, can we bring up the PowerPoint if that's okay? Perfect. So this was, and just a note, you will see black bars because the presentation was made for a portrait screen, as it were. So ignore the black bars and just focus in on the middle, it'll be fine. So first of all, the key art I think is awesome. I love it.
Yeah, so this is 2 characters from the content, isn't it? People may not know this.
So this is new characters.
One of them's already in game.
Well, they're both technically in game, I believe. I think we put Tony in as well.
Yes, actually, no, they are both.
site
They're
rework,
both
both
in the main building at the dig site, which is to become the Archaeology Guild.
Yeah. And you can see Tony wearing the elite skilling outfit.
Not in the live game right now.
On this,
Sorry,
okay,
on this,
sorry.
yes. So Tony here, he's
You
wearing.
may have made that connection.
Sorry, yeah, he's wearing the elite skilling outfit, which was, well, it's his outfit.
Yeah.
It was a reason for that big building with the dig site rework.
Yeah, there was.
I mean, we have a little picture of the entire site as well, so we can talk about that in a second. All right, let's jump into the tools. Well, the tool, I should say, for archaeology, the mattock. So, in essence, we're able to kind of summarize what we're going to be getting up to with this tool.
Sure. I think Mod Osborne mentioned it very well in the keynote that unless you are an archaeology enthusiast of some kind, you probably don't know what a mattock is, because I definitely didn't. We were trying to find a good tool that made sense for archaeology. The mattock is essentially your pickaxe, your hatchet. The ones you see on screen are just some of them, containing some of the new metals there, as well as the amcamdo. The one in the top, in the middle, is the time and space, which is similar to your earth and song.
Okay, cool.
And the top right one, which some players did tweet me about and said, "Is this a hero mattock?" And I said yes already, so I may as well just say yes. So I may as well say yes on stream. That is indeed a hero mattock.
So we have a hero item with this.
Yeah, there we
awesome.
go.
That's great news.
Jaunty neckerchief.
So are we? Well, am I right to assume that the level progression is in essence the same as other skills in regards to when you unlock new tiers?
So yeah, so mattocks, they follow the same trend that the mining and smithing rework did. So that's every 10 levels rather than 11, 21, 31 that woodcutting has, and it uses all the metals, so it goes all the way up to 90.
Elder Rune, yeah.
Elder Rune, yeah.
Can these be tool belted?
Yes, they can all be tool belted. They can all be tool belted, of course, not the augmentable ones, which the augmentable ones are the ones that you can similarly do in mining, including the amcamdo, I believe, maybe? Maybe not amcamdo.
So it will be tool beltable.
Yes.
When it's
Tool
not.
beltable, love it.
But yeah, they're augmentable as well, which is good to know. So on release, your typical, your dragon, your crystal, your time and space, and hero mattock are all augmentable.
Perfect. All right, and then we of course went on to the artifacts. Oh, it actually does work good. So the animation works as well, so you guys can kind of see this as it pans through, which is great.
Look, there's the pie pad. Did anybody spot the pie
The
pad?
pie pad.
Look at it, right at the bottom.
Realise that bottom left, right there. Oh my word.
Check it.
That was the subtle one, wasn't it? Yeah.
So in essence, artifacts, if we are looking at this from a skill perspective, how do artifacts tie into archaeology and what will we be doing with them?
You want to do that one, Steve?
Okay, yeah, sure. So these are kind of part of the core training loop of the skill. The gathering aspect of the skill, you'll be excavating, and artifacts are the things that you will excavate. It's like a little bit like the mining rework in that there's a little bar that fills up, but the time it takes to gain these artifacts is longer than just ores, right? And you find all of these things in a damaged state. I mean, the ones we've got here are just from one of our dig sites, so they're all themed very similarly. These are Saradominist artifacts.
Yeah.
But the other thing you find when you're excavating, we've called materials, which when you do the crafting side of the skill, you combine your damaged artifacts with your materials and you restore it.
Awesome. And then, well, we're kind of going to touch on it now, so we're going to come over to the one and only Archaeology Guild. The dig site rework, of course, took place this year. It's all kind of been building up, and here we are with the Archaeology Guild. I guess, Yaga, I'm going to come over to you on this one.
Sure.
So what have we got here then?
So we don't have the final look there. We've updated a bit further since. So the guild is a bit different. The stairs in the guild are now accessible as well. So you'll have upstairs there, which will be, I don't know, do we want to...
A lot of achievement stuff is.
Sure. That'll be your own sort of office, which you take over from...
Tony.
Which, yeah, it'll be a lot of your achievement stuff. So we're introducing qualifications. I think we're doing this, I don't want to talk about that because that's a different project.
We talked about qualifications on the day of that.
Oh, we did. Okay,
did.
cool. So yeah, we'll be introducing qualifications which tie into achievements. So you'll be able to get. To be honest, I can't actually remember how you get them all. Some
Do you
are
want me to cover
there's
some
the
stuff?
level requirements.
Essentially, the qualifications
All the
are made up of achievements. So to progress throughout the skill, qualifications require you to actually do the skill. Something I said to a couple of people at RuneFest was, at the moment, you can achieve 99 in a skill by doing one thing. So you could craft sapphires to 99. Qualifications in the skill have you actually doing the skill. So you have to excavate a lot of artifacts, restore artifacts, contribute artifacts to collections. You have to do a lot of everything.
And then am I right in assuming as you go up qualifications, you'll get better benefits as a result?
Yes.
Okay.
So that also ties into there's a shop in the Archaeology Guild, which there's multiple shops. One of them is you can use your currency, the Archaeology currency called Chronotes, which you can get we might as well talk about now. You can buy the skill outfit on launch. You can buy the elite skilling outfit on launch from there, again using the Chronotes. And they also have the Archaeology qualification requirements. There's a ton of other stuff in those shops as well, like consumables, think like your deep sea fishing consumable boosts.
And we can totally, like, you know, as time goes on, cover that more as well.
There's like 5 tabs in there, so it's pretty full.
Yeah, we can cover details.
Oh yeah.
We'll be here all weekend.
Yeah.
So.
Were people in the volcano finding it?
Yeah, so that's the thing. In the volcano, so at RuneFest, we took the playable version of the game. And it was literally the archaeology stream with a few restrictions on it. So we left everything in, which meant that everyone could go out of their way and find stuff, which was really interesting because we let people run around, they take pictures all over the various
That was
socials.
done very deliberately, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. It was nice to just...
It's like the skill itself. We left a lot of secret things in there for people who went off the beaten track a little bit.
I think there was a few things people didn't see when they could have seen them, so that's just interesting.
Oh, okay. All right, let's dive into the big ones. We have the sites, and we actually have the overviews for these ones on the streaming side of things. So you guys may not have seen this at all, but these are kind of overviews as they were of each site. So start off with Caradet.
This is actually only a small part of it. This is just a kind of
tiny section.
Yeah, a small hallway off the main bit. So it's quite nice that Caradet is still kept a little bit secret.
Actually, while we're going through these sites, I want to mention if you type in !ARC, ARCH, god damn it, that's another issue with my pronunciation.
Arch.
Arch, yeah, it's not Arc. Anyway, you should get taken. You should see a link, which Moobot's now got there. It's a dedicated page launched for Archaeology, which kind of goes into detail on these sites. But you can also check out the awesome artwork and the copy to go with it as well. So we've got Caradets, and that, as you mentioned, was only a little smidgen of a look of it. I mean, we're able to kind of summarize it.
Caradet is it's a place that's within the lore already, mentioned in the lore. It was a Zerosian fortress back in the Second Age, technically, it would have been built. And it was the site where the Majorat and Zaros first came together and kind of brokered their loyalty with him. And the fort was on the kind of outskirts of the Empire and on the front lines of the Zerosian-Caridian War. So there's steeped in history, there's a lot of stuff about Caradet.
And then my personal favourite so far is Everlight. It looks absolutely gorgeous. I mean, look at that.
I mean, you can see why this is what we chose to.
Oh yeah. So this was like the
demo.
feature part of it was in the demo build, was it not?
Yeah.
It was. Okay. It looks awesome.
And they didn't see everything that Everlight has to offer. There's a whole section which we didn't reveal. So for those who did play through that, there is more to this site.
I'd say of all the sites, Everlight is probably the one laid bare the most when you arrive. Mm-hmm. But even still, that's just a part of it.
What I've loved is that you guys haven't thought, right, archaeology, we've got to put everything under the ground. People have got to dig for it all.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. You've kind of got a slight perversity of, hey, we're going to make it underwater. So a lot of this is submerged. And then in other sites, it's not quite just digging into the dirt.
Oh, I mean, we were fighting against the very first instinct of archaeology. It sounds boring. It's like, no, we can't have that. We've got to do some awesome stuff for these sites.
Yeah, very RuneScape.
And then a bit of a change to the environment, but the Infernal Source, which is looking pretty awesome as well.
It's fair to say this one isn't visually finished in any way.
Oh, it's very,
This
and
is
obviously
work in
everything we're
progress.
showing you right here, of
Yeah,
course,
you
is
can
work
see
in
the blue
progress.
box people there.
Oh yeah, the placeholder NPCs.
The skybox in the background, etc. It's all placeholder.
And again, you're only seeing a kind of a small portion of this site.
That's
And
the top level.
That's
top
the
level.
top
and
level.
You don't even, there's other stuff before you even
And there's
get
hints
here.
there of the bottom level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one was, I think either you mentioned it yourself in the keynote, but that one is beneath the sword in the middle of the wilderness. We did mention that,
Yeah.
but that also led to people asking, does this mean the site is in the wilderness? Thematically, it's in the wilderness, but you're not mechanically in the wilderness.
area.
You can't kill each other. You're not in a dangerous area, so it's not PvP.
So the
there.
moment they go in there, it's not.
Yeah,
a-
it's not a PvP area. And to get there is also, you don't have to run through the wilderness like Chaos Tunnels, for example. So it's perfectly safe to get
Yeah,
there.
it's on the website anyway. You access that through near the Jolly Boar Inn. So
Yeah. Functionally, it's a bit like the Chaos Tunnels, right?
Yes.
In that it's accessed outside of the wilderness and it's safe. So it's fine.
But like your references here are very much kind of Dante's Circles of Hell kind of thing.
Absolutely, yeah. We like. I don't know why. I don't know why anyone thought it was a good idea, but they just kind of left me to beaver away. They gave me some stipulations, say, hey, we don't want just boring digging in dirt, but it's like go out there, come up with some crazy ideas, and this is what we ended up with, yeah.
And then two of them that you showed off, but of course they're a little bit under wraps, and that is the Stormcloud Citadel. Blurred, naturally.
Only slightly blurred. Probably less blurred than I would have liked.
Yeah.
But you know,
It's okay.
it's all right.
I mean, we're purposely, even right now, I'm like purposely not saying much
That's fine.
because as much as like it's great that we can now talk about it, in terms of the skill, it's all about being mysterious and stuff. So we also don't want to just, it's like quests, right? We don't tell you the details of a quest. I also, try not to tell the details too much of a site.
we
And
want to
that-
leave all that exploration and
Oh,
discovery
yeah.
for you guys. Yeah.
And then, of course, Warforge, which a little bit less. That's more blurry.
Hey, it's got a pillar. You know, but it does have an exclamation mark.
That's one that doesn't work well in portrait, I think.
No, that's fine. And then for somehow, somewhere, the exclamation mark made its way in, as you can see.
I insisted.
It's vital.
It's Mod Rowley's. You want to make sure you got it right through. And then, so as you can imagine, we're kind of being a bit quiet on this one. But now we get into, in my opinion, some juicy bits. Ancient Summoning. Right. What have we got here then?
Do you want me to talk?
Yeah, you
Sure.
can start with it.
So, of course, within the Archaeology skill, we've got various reward spaces. One of them is Ancient Summoning. The whole concept here is this is very much focused around the Infernal Source and demon contracts. So Ancient Summoning is initially released with demons. The idea of having contracts with various Slayer demons, such as, I'm trying to think which ones we said, Abyssal Demon, Calgarian Demon,
Ripper
and I
Demon.
think
Ripper
we
was
said Ripper
mentioned,
Demon
yeah.
in the reveals. So you'll be able to essentially capture those, or essentially have contracts with them, and then be able to summon them as familiars. And I was making the Ripper Demon recently, and he is very good.
What were your
very
words? How did you describe him?
Uh,
Massively OP, I think.
I
it was.
said, I'm pretty sure I said broken as something, which I will not repeat on stream.
No, you didn't. I've got it right here. I reckon the Ripper Demon Familiar is, in caps, busted, going to be so OP, is Ryan's quote on that one. So there you go.
We will review the balance.
But this is obviously when it's first implemented and so on. So, I mean, that's just, I presume that's not all of them. There are more.
No, there are more than that.
And obviously, you'll find that out.
Oh, you could probably guess from the picture, right? Is that?
That's an Abyssal Demon, yeah.
Oh, is that? Oh, sorry. I don't remember us talking about the Abbey.
No, yeah, so, I mean, put him up on the screen, but not talk about him.
Yeah, I suppose not.
And then into the ancient invention areas, the ancient gizmo. Obviously significant for what it does, but are we able to kind of elaborate a little bit on that as well?
Sure. Does anyone?
I mean, yeah, I suppose I worked on
As the
Invention, so I
Invention
should
guy.
know this sort of thing. So yeah, this is like your existing gizmos in terms of you've got your weapon, your armor, and your tool. But when you go to make gizmos currently, you can only have, you've got that little cross where you can put five
slots,
materials
yeah.
in. And this one opens up all 9. We're still working, I think, with the balancing on this
Yeah,
in
there is
terms of.
I was going to say there is a caveat in that it was asked in the Q&A at RuneFest. With the 9 slots open, it doesn't just mean when you add 4 more, say, noxious components like the value of each component is now less, but you can now have more variety, and the overall value is slightly higher than before.
So it
If that
will
makes sense.
open up higher tiers.
But it
and
doesn't just give you a free
combinations.
pass to them.
No.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
It's still going to be your kind of top end invention stuff. Yeah.
I know a lot of people were asking if the calculator would be updated. Is that something that can happen?
I mean, that's not. I mean, I can't decide that one. It's up to these guys.
If the answer is yes, it will not be straight away.
Okay.
It's
okay.
understandable.
There's value in it, in that information being obfuscated. So yeah, it probably won't be a launch by any means.
Cool. All right, and then we had the XP capacitor. In essence, XP capacitor is.
Essentially just an item that when training Invention, I believe the Invention XP that you gain, instead of going into your item, or at least some of it potentially,
Yeah, some of it.
will go into this capacitor. Once the capacitor is full, it can essentially be then, you can start siphoning XP out of it by training. So you get double, essentially I think what Timbo said is double item XP.
Yeah.
The item is tradable, so it allows other players to make use of it. To essentially level their items faster. What we did discuss originally was that you may not be usable, it may not work on the item you're using unless it's level 10. So you can't get to level 10 faster, but you can use it to get to level 15 and 20 for item level
If you want to get
benefits.
to level 20 faster for their perk
Exactly.
benefits, then yeah, that'd be awesome. And then we had the kinetic dynamo. Anyone want to take this one?
You may want to correct me if I
That's
if any of this is wrong, but pretty much running around and surging will charge your charge pack. That's what it's called. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Slightly different.
Slightly different.
Yeah, so that's fine.
thought so.
So it's similar to the Divine, I want to say Divine-O-Matic. I don't know if that's what it's
No,
called.
Diplomatic.
Diplomatic.
Yep.
That it builds up charges, which are then similarly there'll be like little charge thing.
Pumps out
they're
divine
called.
charges.
Pumps out divine charges essentially, and you can trade those. But I believe it's a item that gets destroyed once used, so you have to make more than one.
So you don't keep it permanently like the
Yeah.
Diplomatic. Okay, cool. All right, now boosted tools. I think in essence, right, boosted level 80 in that sense.
Yeah,
Is
level
that right?
80 invention tools for the 3 that already exist, so Hammertron, Pyromatic, and Fishermatic.
I said now in that very anticipating voice because I thought I was about to get onto this slide. I said now because now we get
right.
onto the big one.
Cool
So
stuff.
Relics, we announced 2 of them on the stage, if I remember correctly. There was obviously you guys gave out sheets and let them take pictures, share it on Reddit and so on about Relics. If we're to kind of summarize what Relics are, how do they work in the game with Archaeology?
Sure. So relics, you will find them through training archaeology. When you find one, and you sacrifice it to the monolith, it is then permanently yours. You will not lose it. And the monolith which you saw in the dig site, that's pretty much where you'll manage them all. You can have a maximum of 3 active at once. But think like Invention machines,
The power charge.
allocation system, where one of these relic powers might consume a large quantity of that pool.
Okay, so you may have this one really awesome relic, but it costs a lot more.
It costs a lot more.
So you
to
might not be
use.
able to even have 3 at once.
So you could
Yes.
have the really
Okay.
strong one and then one of the weaker ones at the same time.
Cool.
Yeah, Invention machines is kind of the best way to describe
I think that's a
it.
good. Yeah, I think it's a good reference.
They can be switched out. So once you activate one, if you want to switch to another one, you can deactivate it. You still keep it in your pool of relics you have, but to activate another one, it will cost chronotes, which again is the archaeology currency.
One question: do you have to activate them weekly like totems, or is it just
no upkeep cost?
Cool.
Once activated, that is it. They are all passive effects.
I know there was
Yeah.
some questions or wanting to have combat ones and skipping
Yeah.
ones have
Yeah.
separate kind of slots free.
So, just to add a bit to what Modiago, however you want to say it, said is essentially, So on that point, the reason we've designed it the way it is, and the reason there's no time and it's permanently active, is because this is kind of that element of the skill which you could say is your overload of Herblore, it's your turmoil of prayer, your pack yak and steel titan of summoning. It's that reward space where you have to work hard, you have to get through the skill, you have to go out of your way to find these things, and once unlocked, you'll be able to make use of them. The reason we have decided to also make a one pool, so not combat versus skilling, is because we want players to feel like they can swap, and there is a reason to swap. There's a cost between swapping. If we made essentially presets of skilling versus combat, there's less reason to swap because you make your skilling set, you make your combat set. At the same time, there is good combinations of both. There's a lot more information on Relics that we'll talk about in the future, I think. When we gave out the sheet at RuneFest, it was very much, here are some cool ideas, have a look, where we didn't explain the context. So of course on Reddit, there is no context currently.
Yeah, it's safe to say, like, we wanted to get the information for Relics out there early because we want to see what the community thinks, obviously. And I mean, there are obvious concerns about some of them. We know very well that some of these are overpowered as current. So, you know, don't worry too much about that. We're on the case.
I'm going to ask some quick questions from the chat. Feel free to veto them or so on and so forth. How do you obtain the mattocks in archaeology?
I got this. Yeah, so anything up to older rune is just via smithing.
Okay,
Same
so
as
you can smith them.
pickaxes, yeah.
Awesome.
The special ones will come from, I mean, obviously the dragon pickaxe you get as a drop will have a dragon mattock that you'll gain from some method that will become available.
And am I right in
release.
assuming the dragon mattock will probably play a factor in the son? I can't remember.
It's
the
part
name
of that chain.
Yeah, yeah.
Special
Sorry.
chain. So of course you've got your crystal, which is your typical Prithinus crystal harmonic dust route, and then the Incando one has its own kind of special way that's introduced in the same way the Incando pickaxe is. Combine those two, time and space.
Go on, a hero item. Go on.
And there's a hero item as well.
Will the kinetic dynamo have a gizmo slot?
No.
No.
They're boots.
It's not actually boots.
They're not boots.
No. So the concept is boots,
I see.
but the item was
on
not
the boots.
boots.
Right. Well, I'm glad we cleared that one up because I did not know that.
I went to talk to concept artists, and this is what happens sometimes. It's like, can we convey this? And boots seemed like a good way of
Yeah,
conveying
I
it.
mean,
It turned out it wasn't boots.
considering how they're likely to be used, players are going to want to wear boots when they're doing agility, probably. So these are just a device that you have while you're doing that.
So I saw a lot of Silverhawk memes. Unfortunately, they won't come true.
Yeah, it's not a thing.
A Relics tradable.
The ones released with the initial release, no, but we did discuss, so obviously when designing a new skill, always worth bearing in mind, we're obviously thinking about the future of the skill and where the skill can go. It's not to say that relics in the future wouldn't be tradable, the same way that we've made prayer, like codices and stuff, tradable nowadays. It's definitely on the cards for the future, but not on release.
Yeah. It wouldn't be archaeology if you weren't the one like
for sure.
delving into tombs and finding these magical relics yourself.
Question about why isn't archaeology an elite skill?
Yeah, we answered this one on the
Yeah, it
panel,
was a
didn't
hard
we?
one to answer.
Yeah. So I can see why, because why people may think this, and this is the answer I give on that too, is that a lot of the content, Ancient Summoning, Ancient Invention, feels high level. But that's because we foregrounded them. Actually, they are high level, but you're working through the relics, working through collections, working through a lot of the other pieces of content we haven't announced on the way to getting those. So there is actually stuff that feels lower level and gets you on the way to Ancient Invention and Summoning. And we also like the idea, because archaeology feels so baked into the environment. Like, these are core places. Caradet is in the main areas of the game world. Mauritania is too. It would seem a shame to lock that off to higher levels. And also, archaeology is really good, and I want everybody to play it.
The skill's very grounded. Was the thing I mentioned in the Q&A. So right at the beginning of the skill, you are an intern. You're working through it. You become the great player that you can be. So there was no real elite entry there.
So I'll take two more, and then we'll kind of wrap up with the last couple bits on archaeology, and I think we'll leave it at that for now, on the archaeology bits anyway.
So there are a couple of questions I can answer if
crack up.
that's fine.
If you say anything.
I'll cover them real quick. Someone said it's a 120 skill. We didn't cover that at the beginning.
True.
But, this wasn't mentioned, but we should probably mention it, is, so you need 99 to get back into the max guild. There will not be a grace period on a new skill. We discussed that.
So, okay, cool.
Because as a new skill, there is a sense of, like, watching the whole game, everyone is now trying to obtain their max capes and comp capes.
And I want to see people rep those 120 capes. You know, in Divination launch, everyone was running around with the dunge capes on. But yeah,
it's gonna be weird. All I can
right?
think about that. So one of the first weeks I ever joined, I joined in RuneScape was when Invention was about to come out. The day of Invention release, just before the update, there was the infamous max guild train where they were all following each other around the circle of the max guild before they all got booted out. And I imagine it's going to happen again with this.
Yeah, on that point, which is obviously mentioned here, is because we're kicking them out of the max guild. Obviously, boss portal is a thing. I mentioned it a bit at RuneFest. It's not something we can solve as part of this project, but we can identify, and I think a lot of people agree that the boss portal being in the max guild doesn't make much sense, and we could put it in a better position. It's something I would love to solve before release, but that can never be guaranteed. But
it's not an easy question, unfortunately.
Yeah. Annual survey PVM hub came so high that seems like a good solution to it in some way, some kind of progression track.
Yeah, I mean, sorry, slight off topic. We did have there was a conversation at some point about putting it in Reaper's office and unlocking bosses based on X kills. So if you do 100 kills at Solak, you can now portal to Solak from Reaper's office. But that's a different conversation. I was going to say, there's one more question. Someone said, am I continuing with my trading sequence with this skill? And the answer is yes, because that was what I was waiting for.
Naturally. Yeah. Awesome. Are we able to bring the presentation back up, John, and then we'll go through the last bits. I may have missed that. So weapons, but I believe we're going to kind of keep quiet on this one for now. Yes. Is that correct?
Yes.
I know Mod Osborne said a little bit on it.
I can probably just chip in with a little bit to say that, okay, Ancient Invention, Ancient Summoning, Relics, these are kind of our big reward spaces, but there's loads and loads of little things that are just kind of dotted around here and there, like sprinkles.
Yep.
And this might be one of them.
This is one of your sprinkles.
And then we'll cover that in future streams for sure. There may be an archaeology slide in a second. Yep, thought so. Sorry, I should have taken that one out. That's because when it comes to this bit, Dave was using this as to segue into this wonderful thing. Archie, the skill impact. I mean, it seems like an obvious choice, right? But it's adorable.
Oh, this is one of my favourite segments of the keynote. It's when I got to do my Mr. DNA bit from Jurassic Park. Get to talk to a digital chap. Yeah, there he goes. Look at that.
That's his special attack.
That looks amazing.
Yeah. Little like God of War chains attack. Really cool.
Yep.
And then, I don't think we need to say anything more other than that's amazing. And as expected, because you'll expect to get this during archaeology skilling. So good luck. And we'll see, probably someone's going to end up getting a pet very early.
I'll day one, no doubt.
I can't actually wait for people to meet this guy in game. Like, he's got such a wicked personality. Mod Rowley might be able to talk more. You might not want to say anything, but
keep it.
We'll let people find it.
Yeah. And then, in my opinion, this is one of the best looking skill capes I've ever seen. It is gorgeous. The Archaeology skill cape, that is, you can see there. And I think we can talk about the skill icon while we're here, since it shows it. But I mean, first of all, the skill cape. Why these colours?
There's two answers to this. One, I spent a very, very, very long time trying to find two colours that we don't already have that match and stick with the theme of the skill, which is very hard. And then two, it's white and black because Third Age colours are, well, it's an off-white. This concept is slightly whiter than the one in game, but
there's a lot of people in the chat not too much bigger fans of the icon, which I believe we're reopening as a conversation.
We are, ever since we mentioned it at RuneFest, I believe. There was a few comments about not having the brush and having just the artifact. But yeah, it's definitely something we should be talking about, because the overall feedback is what you say is colours are great, icon is not so great on the colours.
Yeah. I think the icon makes. I mean, initially when I first saw it, I didn't get it, but after seeing it, I mean, it's the brush. As an archaeologist, you're using that brush a lot. I mean, I think it makes sense.
Yeah, somebody in the chat saying they want a fossil.
It is.
Which is actually obvious. There's no real fossils. It's
well,
not really a paleontology.
As we say, fossils is paleontology. This is archaeology.
Yeah, maybe we could find something that works. Sorry?
Good on message.
Oh, right.
We got Mod Jack in the background. And then, as mentioned, of course, by Mod Yago earlier on, but we have the Elite Skilling outfit, and there it is in its entirety as well. It looks awesome. As you mentioned, this first skill actually launches with a skilling outfit for you to get, as well as an Elite Skilling outfit. So, it's very exciting. It's more for you to aim for. I think I can quote Mod Osborne when I say that the bonuses it gives you, we can't really dive into at the moment because you have to kind of know the skill first.
Yeah,
For us to dive into it, right?
Fairly meaningless, I think, at this point.
I think they might surface on Reddit at some point because I know somebody took a picture of the tooltip.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
They've done a good job. Well done.
Awesome. And then, of course, the final note, of course, is the announcement. And that was the release. We can go back to full screen, I think, now on the camera, which, of course, January 2020.
Yeah,
Four-year
that's quite
gap
bold.
officially now. So Invention 2016.
Of course, yeah.
January
Invention was
2020.
January.
Yep. So, yeah. Bold, but why bold?
That we're given a month. You know, we could have gone, you know,
Q1,
Q1, all of these horrible, like, you know,
That's fair.
marketing terms like that. But yeah, sets us a challenge.
Sure.
Hopefully the team feel comfortable with that challenge.
Oh.
Okay, comfortable's too big a word, but you get what I mean.
And the other thing I want to mention, of course, is like Invention, Archaeology is going to have an amnesty, as it were, on, is it lamps and stars and so on and so forth?
That's a good question, actually. There is an amnesty on lamps and stars, etc. But the very specifics, because people were asking me at RuneFest, they were saying, "Oh, Clan Avatar worked for Invention. Is it going to work here?" At some point, we'll probably ask the players which ones do they feel should work, and we'll probably check what Invention had, because I don't remember off the top of my head.
The Avatar increase your item XP, so yeah, it definitely worked on release.
Right.
I know that
So
much.
but the obvious ones won't
Yeah,
work,
yeah.
like double X. There won't be bonus XP and all that sort of stuff. But of course, we are releasing with a skill outfit, so the skill outfit will work. But yeah.
And are we setting a date for how long the amnesty is, or are we just saying it's an amnesty, it's happening?
We said in the
6
reveals
months.
it was 6
Yeah,
months.
6
Okay,
months.
cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Okay, so like Ryan mentioned, like we could talk about this forever and ever and ever if we really wanted to. However, you know, it releases in January. We have all these streams coming up as the months go on by. We have month aheads. We have probably videos that are going to come out on
Yeah.
this as well.
So I think our plans are, can't remember, yeah, it's November for talking about Stormguard. December we're going to talk about Warforged.
There you go.
We'll dive in a bit more there as well, and obviously other details around that too. And we'll give an exact release date closer to the end of the year as well.
So there you go. So first of all, I'm going to keep hold of Mod Rowley, but Mod Ryan and Mod Yaga, thank you so much
No worries,
for joining us.
thank you.
It's been great to have you guys on the stream. It's been a long time. So
yeah.
bring on the archaeology hype, for sure. So yeah, you guys are good to
Cool.
go.
We'll leave now.
Yeah, well, this is where we do the wonderful transitions, as it were. So joining me in just a moment will be Mod Jack, because Mod Jack's kind of going to be playing the role of Mod Mark in, if you watched the keynotes, you would have seen, you can go. Yeah, you're all good, sorry.
Defeating the purpose of the fill.
Yeah, so as I mentioned, Mod Mark was on stage, story time Mod Mark, as it were.
Yeah.
He got to
Got his beard out, chatted about story.
talk about stories, and
chat.
we thought we'd keep Mod Rally on here to join Mod Jack, because these guys are actually part of the lore Q&A that took part on the main stage. How was that for you guys?
It was good. It was good. It took a while to get everyone shouting fail or no fail, but they were doing it at the end. You couldn't really hear it. I watched the stream back last night. You couldn't
Yeah.
really
The
hear
audience
it.
were quite there, were they?
You couldn't hear it. You couldn't hear it when they were doing it. But they were. Like the last time,
Oh, so it
everyone
makes it look-
screamed
it makes it look
But
like
it makes it look like no one's saying it back.
Oh, well done, guys, but this is no nose.
But actually, but the first one, no one did it. On the fourth one,
Yeah.
everyone did it.
Yeah.
And they actually made quite a lot of noise.
Got it. Alrighty, so we're going to talk about some quest stuff. I don't know how long this is going to go for, but we'll just talk about everything that was kind of mentioned there. So we saw, of course, the mention of a City of Sentistan quest. I mean, I don't know what more I can add to it, but
I'm not sure how much you wanted to say about this
Yeah,
at this
this is
stage, actually. You're probably thinking the same thing about me.
Go for it, go for it.
Well, we
You set
have
the tone.
we have a concrete plan.
Yep.
But we have multiple designs at the moment. The question the law Discord keep asking me is it really going to involve time travel? To which the question is, we have lots of, like, I have like 2 major designs and 4 minor designs written for that quest. So we're going to figure out how best to fit it into the storyline that we have in a way that best makes sense for the world and where we want to go with the particular story that we have in mind. So we haven't decided yet.
I feel like I kind of made a derp on my behalf, because I feel like I should have probably asked you about Desperate Measures first before jumping onto the further
we
one.
can go
but
back in time.
we can-
It's all part of the.
We've got the needle. We've got the needle. We can do whatever we like.
So, of course, Desperate Measures, we had Desperate Times in May of this year, if I recall correctly. Desperate Measures.
So do you want to talk in more detail than we have about the team, or just remind people?
Should we do the measures then we talk about?
Yeah, we've got
'cause
a
it's
little bit
relevant.
later where we could talk about the team.
No, because it's relevant to
Oh, go
desperate
for it,
measures,
go for
'cause-
it.
Okay, so yeah, let's do it.
Freestyle it.
So we have a plan for a dedicated quest team, which is going to be me plus another developer, which we don't know who
Yep.
that's necessarily going
That
to be.
is a new bit of information I think I should mention, right? Because we
That's
didn't
right.
confirm who was in the team. is
Yeah,
that correct?
not the numbers.
Right.
And obviously a tester to help test these things.
Yeah.
But that's, and just
So
chugging away.
that's great from my point of view.
And probably
That's
also the support of the Law Council as well.
Oh, hell
Oh,
yeah.
absolutely.
You
Yeah,
need
yeah,
to
yeah.
lean on, of
Yeah.
course.
And we're not currently expecting the City at Santistan quest to be made by that team.
Yeah.
So that's on top of.
Yeah, for those people who are really interested in getting our number of quests up, this team will be doing quests, but it doesn't mean that they are solely, they are solely doing
And the
quests.
numbers,
It's not that
the
we're-
number of the team isn't confirmed as well, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, okay,
And
just
the
clarify.
personnel. But there's absolutely no reason that other people in the team could do quests as well, particularly if they're of a certain size. Like an Santistan quest feels like it's got to tick certain boxes, including rewards, like ancient rewards and other stuff. Like there's an implicit location in that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a bit bigger, and I'd want to give that its room.
So my job right now is figuring out how to fit the storyline that we had planned into this new structure, which actually gives us more room to work with. So I'm sort of rearranging and fitting things in and taking into account the archaeology and summer 2020 and
Beyond.
January 21.
Yeah.
And rearranging. So in that regard, so desperate measures, the design of it is going to change slightly to accommodate that in a good way, like because we now have a little bit more room. So the plan that we had for desperate measures is now going to change slightly.
And what it
I'm
means,
not sure how much more I can say about it.
what it means for quests, obviously, is a dedicated team is great. First of all, I mean, I don't know. Obviously, I imagine there's not much more we can say in that regard.
Yeah, I mean, happy to talk about a few things.
Sure.
One of the reasons to set up a sub team like this is that you can protect them, and that is their identity. That's what they do. And often part of the problem has been that quests, we want to do a quest, but then we need more time on bank placeholders or something else. It can get absorbed. But no, it's the aim of every certain period of time. Quests will come out, and this has come off the back of the annual survey as well. A lot of things that came in, we were told that actually a 30-minute quest is fine. That things that aren't lavish, we don't have to spend a lot of assets necessarily. It might be good if we could tie it into existing game content that's upcoming. The idea of an Elder God Wars dungeon quest before that coming out. Sorry, I'm spotting your flow, but we could connect them up to things that are coming, and they could feel emphatic in that sense. So it's just doing kind of bottom.
I mean, if we take the example of if we'd been using this plan around the release of Anachronia, we could have done a quest that used the assets of Anachronia before it came out, perhaps, in order to give it a bit of wow factor.
Tell a few Anachronia quests.
Because it's good if quests do have a bit of a wow factor, but we really struggle to justify all brand new assets just for the quest. But if we can use them for multiple pieces of content, that works really
But one of the joys of it, the thing that I'm really excited about, is if you've got people who are on a quest team dedicated to quests, they will not only get really good at quests, but might also create the tools to create quests. And so we could just get on that and master the discipline of doing it.
And get like that kind of flow going, as it were.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
Just got to find somebody who'll work with Tim. Sorry, or Jack.
Yeah, it's challenging. I've gone through almost the whole team now.
So I mean, when it comes, it's good because I feel like when it comes to quests, it's been quite mixed in regards to are we doing one, are we not doing one? We've been quite quiet. So
it's been quiet.
That public commitment, let alone on the main stage, with the public commitment of we now have a dedicated team for quests is a big step forward.
Yeah, it's not only been not as much, not the rate we expect, but also the content has been quite throwaway in some cases. Quite some standalone things that haven't really felt like it's part of we've done the fabric of what we're doing. So that also can change too.
There's one question that I got a few people asked on RuneFest as well, which is I think we should be clear that when we're talking about a City at Santistan quest, we're talking about a quest, not a skilling area, not a city. So it will be a focused quest sort of area. We're not planning to recreate Santistan in the game world or anything like that, because that's an example of the sort of thing we can't practically do for the sake of it.
That's the sort of not overscoping, but the way that quest series build over time.
Yeah, exactly.
Every single one of them in the first quest say, hey, we're going to do a city. And then like 10 years, 20 years down the line or whatever, everything's just become overblown, and that's kind of the reason why.
So we're making a quest set in Santistan. We're not making a city.
Mm.
Yeah.
In the same way, I mean, we already visited
But it kind of
Santistan
sets
in
the
Children of Mar.
blueprint, so to speak, right? If you happen to go down that road.
In theory, we could do more with it in the future.
Yeah,
I mean, but in terms of schedule, like when we're talking about quest assets coming from other updates,
Yeah.
it would need to be the headline pillar update. So if we wanted to invest in a whole Menaphos-sized, I mean, well, Santistan is much larger than Menaphos, so like, you know, if we wanted to do something like that and like, oh, let's all go live in the Second Age for a whole year or something, you know, if we wanted to do that, that would really have to be the whole year of updates.
Yeah.
That's not something that we can just make as a quest.
So the chat is blowing up asking about Halloween, whether or not we've got an event.
Oh yeah, that's a good question. Like, what does it mean for event? Seasonal quests, word I was looking for.
Yeah, the team could well take on that kind of thing. I mean, that's something we haven't really broached yet, me and Jack, but that could well be folded in. We've always talked about, like, we're big fans of, like, Broken Home, Violet is Blue, in the sense that it doesn't necessarily have to be a temporary piece of content or a dedicated thing that fits the season. In terms of this this Halloween, there is a team, I think, who might be taking it on from the bounty board for the Epic Jam. But at the moment, we don't have one planned.
And we'll obviously, in relation, so when you say, I think it's the first time you've called it Epic Jam. Just
Oh, sorry, yeah, Game Jam.
Because you called it Game Jam.
Game Jam.
We'll get into that in a little bit.
Yeah, Epic is a shortening of episodic content. It's the kind of little nickname we give to ourselves.
And as a fun little FYI for you, 1 year ago today, the Till Death to a Spat event started, actually.
Oh, right, okay.
So it's actually the 1 year anniversary of that content as well. So a little cool little tidbit for you. Is there anything else you guys want to touch upon in regards to questing / lore, in regards to?
Well, there was also as an Adra quest mentioned, / announced.
Yes. So that's part of the storyline. For me, there's a. I should actually, on the same subject, I should mention why the City of Santistan quest exists at all
Go on.
from the lore standpoint, which is that the archaeology skill, as people keep saying, well, are we going to get to the dig site? The archaeology skill has chosen to go to 5 other unexplored locations in the world to sort of try and flesh out the world, which kind of leaves Santistan untouched, although it's had bits and pieces in quests, but it's not a major part of the archaeology skill. And so then we're like, well, that's perfect. We can do a, you know, it's lore players who particularly, it's lore players who even know what the word Santistan means, right? Like, and it's lore players who are interested in exploring that. And so in that sense, it makes sense to do that as a quest rather than a skilling update, I think. So it works really nicely. And then with Asanadra, that's kind of a similar sort of. So anyone who looked eagle-eyed at Rowley's presentation, you showed who the 5 site managers were.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Did we see ourselves releasing that presentation, out of curiosity, or releasing the images or stuff we used in that presentation? Just a thought that just comes to my head.
You can just screenshot them out as
I
a
mean,
YouTube video.
yeah, but I mean, like direct, like image, like sourcing and stuff.
You would know better than we would, I think.
Yeah, it'd be good to get those videos out at the very
You're welcome to tweet them if you want.
Yeah, no, I think we're gonna get the video. Yeah, we're gonna get the videos out. Yeah, of course we are. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, it's safe to say. I mean, Dr. Nabanik is a key.
So Dr. Nabanik's an important character in the archaeology skill, but as of Children of Ma, Asanadra is verging on godhood, I think, as you put it. That, to me, is an interesting, like...
Dynamic?
You got to have a hobby, right?
That's a bit weird,
Even
because
gods.
now...
Even gods have got to have a hobby, right?
Right.
Right.
So, like, here's Dr. Nabanik, like, scraping around in the desert, being a god. It's a bit weird, and I'd like to try and resolve that. It feels a bit like an elephant in the room to me.
Yeah, sure. It's safe to say as well, obviously, we're not going to go back to archaeology, but there's plenty of narrative and story hooks for those quests within the skill itself as well.
Yeah, that's the exciting bit, especially in the areas you're going to. I imagine will
I keep running into problems where I want to hook quests off things that you've done in archaeology, but I'm like, okay, can I require this? And you're like, no, that would require level 117 archaeology. And I'm like, oh, okay, right, sure, okay, we'll have the quest be about something else.
Sure.
Awesome. I don't think, and I think that's everything in regards to what Mark covered, but in a summary perspective where we could elaborate on it. Is there anything else?
Well, a lot of this will be pacing up to, and I think we mentioned this in the talk as well, leading up to Elder God Wars Dungeon, like giving us a reason why this thing exists and why it's important.
Well, I mean, we may as well talk about what we have you do here, right? Because I don't have anyone dedicated on the couch to cover that section.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, I mean, Elder God Wars Dungeon, why now?
Well, I mean, Jack has been working a lot on this right now as well.
I've been pushing for this for a while now, because you've been like, what should we do in summer 2020? And you've been doing lots of due process. And I said, should be Elder God Wars Dungeon. I don't think I can say much of it without massively spoiling everything.
Fair.
I mean, from a dungeon point of view, the idea is definitely to make an Elder God Wars dungeon. We had a long discussion about like essentially agreeing project goals in terms of what does a God Wars dungeon need to achieve to be worthy of the name God Wars dungeon effectively. And it's very important for us to hit all those targets. And you went through some of them at RuneFest.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
like it's going to have 4 bosses or so. They're going
Yeah.
to have armies. They're going to have champions. They're going to be in a dungeon. It's probably going to be kill count.
Yeah, it's probably going to be of a difficulty level just beyond God Wars Dungeon 2, but not into the realms of your Solax or Teloses.
Yeah, and it's relatively casual, farmable content.
Yeah. But that gives us a lot of room to wiggle.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we want to innovate in that area because we don't want this to just feel identical.
Yeah, and there's a bunch of interesting ideas for how we can make kill count more interesting and choosing what you do in the dungeon more interesting.
Yeah.
From a lore perspective, I don't think I can say anything without massive. I mean,
Yeah.
just the existence of the thing is a huge spoiler, right?
Well, the narration talks about a conflict amongst the elder gods, which is
Yes.
even now that's more than people know and that
Yeah.
knew before. So that's interesting.
Yeah, we have
A
quite
civil war or
we have
something
quite a
into
lot
that.
of elder god lore. We're desperate to actually get into game.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
It's good to hear there's desperation to get lore in game.
show. Oh, absolutely, yeah, absolutely. To actually show them, to have them doing something, to have them interactable.
Yeah.
It's kind of like we've been leading up to this promise for like 3 or 4 years, and we've never really had, because like previous, I think visions were like, oh yeah, White Wolf Mountain's just going to get up and walk around the game world,
Yeah.
and we were never going to be able to do that. Like that was never going to be technically possible, and I think none of us ever really.
I want to see White Wolf Mountain just walk
Right?
around now. That'd be
how amazing would that be? Yeah,
amazing.
but we just can't.
2D
on a
cutscene.
technical level. Yeah, in a 2D cutscene. Yeah.
And then sit back down again before the game.
Yeah, and then it gets up in a cutscene, walks around, sits back down, no sign of anything. There's like some dwarves going, whoa, that was weird. But yeah, no, just to get them in the game in a way which is practical is really exciting.
Awesome.
Plus there's PVM stuff, which is more Mod Ramens kind of thing.
And
I'm not going to be doing the PVM design, just in case anyone's
And
worried.
obviously, when we get closer to the time, and naturally, when
Yeah.
there's more to share, we can dive into that a
Very
lot
much
more.
just had concept meetings.
Okay, I think that'll cover it for the quest stuff for now.
Sure.
But Riley, thank you for joining me on the archaeology
Yep,
bit as well.
absolutely,
And
anytime.
Jack, thank you as well. Another transition, amazing stuff here. John, can you double check and tell me when I get to the one? He's already done it. What a hero. Perfect. Alrighty. So, joining me to my right, I have Mod Orion, who took to the main stage at RuneFest to try and essentially berate Potterington for her acts, as it were. And then Mod Breezy. Both of these guys are involved, have a team involved in 120 Farming and Herblore. How are you guys doing?
Doing good.
Terrible.
Oh, yeah. So I completely expected that reply from you.
Yeah, fine.
Alrighty. You deliberately
Don't
do
go too
this to
far.
me. Unbelievable. All right, I have to ask this. No, RuneFest. Well, what was your favourite bit from RuneFest?
Willow's cosplay was amazing.
The Carapac one?
Yep. If you haven't seen that, just, I don't know, type in Carapac cosplay onto Google and you'll probably find it, right? The magic of the internet. And I really liked the volcano. Just because it annoyed everyone.
Was it going off every 10 minutes? in the
Every
first
hour.
one?
Every hour.
No, right at the start it was more than that.
Oh.
When we warming up and
Yeah, the
testing
timers
everything
were a
for
wee
the day.
bit off.
Oh, I see.
Oh, was it? You just sat on the
You-
controls, just like, wait a minute, what's going on?
And
John is an elder god.
what about you, Breezy?
Best part was meeting all the players and the streamers. Just being able to say hi to everyone. Like everyone, this was the first year that people knew me because when I joined last year and started doing fast,
You had your star enroll in the Mind in Smith
Yeah.
video.
Yeah. So yeah, it was great. Like everyone came up to say hi, speak about updates that they like, speak about like things that they want to do in the future. Spoke about we should go bossing together at some point, and I was like, okay, sure,
Yeah, carry him.
yeah,
Wow.
or get carried even.
Oof.
So yeah, that was my favorite part. Yeah.
Awesome. John, whenever you're ready, feel free to bring up the portrait PowerPoint. That was what we were covering, although I wasn't shown on stream. But in case you missed it, that was the artwork shown at ModMark's session at RuneFest, where he talked about the City of Sentistan quest. But without further ado, let's jump into this. The Ranch Out of Time. So, Ranch Out of Time, in summary, what are we expecting?
It's basically like a bit of
Jurassic Park.
sauce that's went out of date.
A bit of sauce that went out of date.
Yeah, it's
What?
ranch sauce. You ever had
Oh,
ranch
for
sauce?
the love of God.
We're not going to get a straight answer from that.
It's like the stone in the jar.
Jurassic Park or sauce is going out of date are the two answers we've had.
I'm just saying, it might be the Cook's Assistant sequel, but, you know.
Oh my goodness.
Basically, we just like the acronym, didn't we? It's just root. I'm still waiting for toot.
Oh God,
Can we
it
have a
is
toot?
Roots. Of course it is.
I asked them to
Happily
change
out of
it.
time.
Yeah,
Job
there we
done.
I asked them to change it to Granny's Ranch out of time, so it could be
Oh,
Groot.
yeah, that's nice.
Alrighty, so
Sorry, Shawnee, to
thank
answer your
you.
question,
Thank you very much.
it is sauce that has gone out of date.
Oh, for the love of God. Yeah. No, come on,
Come on,
please.
man.
I'm begging
It
you.
is an expansion to the player-owned farm with 5 new pens, as Granny Potterington told you at RuneFest. 2 large, 1 medium, 1 small, and 1 very carefully reinforced breeding pen.
We've rehearsed it a lot.
Yeah.
That is literally word for word. Wow, that was awesome.
Yeah, because I've heard him say it about 16 times. And there'll be frogs, yeah.
Keep going.
And salamanders,
Who
because
doesn't like
a lizard that breathes fire.
Word for word. Amazing.
And Jadinkos. Papa Mambo's been giving me some tips. And apoterasaurs. Now, these little creatures haven't been told that they can fly out of the pens.
Don't tell them.
Don't tell them.
Here's my
Something,
favourite
something.
bit.
And these absolute units.
I think that's the wrong text as well. We put the wrong text on the top.
I wanted to put absolute units, but he kind of.
Oh, why didn't we do? We should have done that.
Where's the joke?
The joke kind of just.
Yeah, that's
Mod Raven's a legend, isn't he? Oh, and some great, terrible deaf
lizards.
dinosaurs or
Deaf
something.
lizards.
Yeah.
Deaf
It's Death Dinosaurs on the day. He changed it.
Yeah, he did.
What? Why did he change
He,
deaf lizards?
Yeah, I prefer Death Lizards. I'm
Yeah,
with you.
me
Sounds
too.
so much better.
Well, that's dinosaurs. Then it doesn't mean like terrible lizard or something like that.
Yeah. T-Rex.
So, in essence, I'm sure you all get the idea, right? It's player on farm, but on a special little and actually, fun fact: there has been, correct me if I'm wrong, a little island outside of Anachronia, right? That
Yeesh.
entire time, and it's kind of been there as a little teaser, but
Yep.
you know that's where it's going, correct?
Indeed.
Yep, it's getting a little makeover. Just
see-
a slight makeover.
This was my problem with the slides, right? Because you know when we were going through and sorting them out pre-reveals,
Yes.
the one where it says Malleotops, yeah?
Yes.
Mod Cells just jumped in the chat going, that's a Scimitops, by the way, or something like that.
Yeah, there was actually a word for them. You can blame me for that one.
Well,
if
we
I'm
were going to
honest.
call them quadrupeds, but then we realised the Varanosaurs were quadrupeds as well. So the feral rippers, the venomous, apparently they're quadrupeds. So it's just been a nightmare to name. But we've gone with like quadrupeds, so brutish,
Yeah.
Scimitops, Acetops, Malleotops are all kind of in the same, they're quadrupeds.
So, a couple of things we should probably get off to tick off straight away. These pens only for dinosaurs only, correct?
yes.
You can't store like your chinchompas and stuff
Well,
in them.
they're for scalies only.
Scalies,
Because there's
okay,
like
cool.
frogs and salamanders and stuff, and I don't know, I guess frogs kind of count somehow.
Herps. It is. Amphibians, reptiles are herps. There you go.
Wow, a little history lesson there.
Nice.
Today I learned.
I wasn't sure how to react to that.
That's
All
a
right.
fact.
There you go.
Herpetology.
Mod Osborne's given me the herps.
My wife might be a specialist in herpetology,
Oh.
so there is a.
Oh, so you're safe then.
She still checks my belly pattern.
Sorry,
Oh my God.
I'm definitely talking about the human papillovirus at the moment. So.
Anyway,
And I presume, so we have our unique perks as they were in Player on Farm.
Yeah.
Are we expecting more for this?
Yep.
God, yeah.
God, yeah.
Every new animal, I guess if you want to call it, dinosaur, frog, salamanders, they all have their own new perks.
Is
Do you want to?
it any we can reveal?
So.
tease them out.
Sorry?
It's not long until launch.
You said tease them out.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tease them out.
So I forgot which ones they belong to. I'll go do the little thing.
You can't do it like, you've got to do it properly. You've got to do it properly. That's, what, like this?
Oh, I thought it was.
Oh, no, it's this one. You're right, it's that one. Yeah, anyway.
I'm so freaked out right now.
That's what you had to do. That's what I had to do for the
Over and over
the
again.
video, over and over again. Anyway,
Sorry.
Right, yeah.
I'm sorry,
unique
Breezy.
perks.
I
Tease
can't
them.
remember specifically which ones they belong to. There's one perk where some of the new bombs that we have with Herblore 120, you can throw them. One of the perks lets you conserve some of those when you throw them, so you've got a small chance per tier to save them.
Okay.
Another one is it extends the duration of barricade for a number of seconds.
Stack with turtling.
Yes.
I believe it does. Yeah.
Man, barricade. That's
Probably guess which of the dinosaurs that goes with.
barricade.
One of the absolute units, right?
One of the absolutely.
And I think one of the other ones is it lets you harvest, on a percentage chance, harvest more meat from Big Game Hunter.
Nice.
And since Big Game Hunter meat is going to be used in some of the new stuff from Herblore 120, it'll be useful there.
Awesome. Wow, that barricade one's a winner for me, I have to say.
There are a couple I think
Oh,
that
I've
are
no
useful
doubt.
for combat as well as skilling for sure.
Okay, if we can bring back up, thank you. Next up, it says Great Granny, but it is Prehistoric Potterington.
Granny, gran.
We were talking today about whether or not we could wheel out Mod Raven for another video as Prehistoric Potterington.
Is that going to need like VFX or a lot of makeup or what? Like, what?
VFX.
We do VFX now, right?
We've got a budget for
Production value.
No, actually, no, you're right. You're right. We actually jumped over that spike trap hit. I do remember now.
Okay, all right.
And you say allow him, let's be honest, he will do it off his own back.
We can't stop him.
No, you can't. But yeah, I presume
Or her, sorry.
on the farm that you find. On the farm you find.
Yes. What is it with him and his bloody LARPing? That's what we'll
Can
find.
we get Prehistoric Potterington as a follower pet rolling in a wheelchair behind us?
I actually made this joke.
I like the way the wheelchair's
I actually made
behind
this
you.
joke
did.
like 2 weeks ago. I said, how funny would it be if you had little granny who follows you on a wheelchair and during combat it does attacks?
It actually interrupted a meeting quite significantly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I did.
Me and Breezy were just kind of giggling at the back, like far too much about this little wheelchair, kind of like, oh my god.
That would actually be amazing.
It would be absolutely adorable.
Wow, man, I wish we'd do that. And then dinos. We have dino babies.
Oh, they're cute.
So, how do we get these?
So they'll be obtained from.
I have to ask the question. You can make that,
How do we get dinosaur babies?
make that expression all you want. I am covering my backside by asking it regardless, okay?
You put dinosaurs together and make them have sex.
That's not the content. I'm pretty sure that's not
I'm
in
literally face planting my laptop right now.
there. So we're doing a pre-release, aren't we, as
But
well?
that's what I was
Yes,
getting
yes.
at!
So
That's what I was getting
You'll
to.
be able to get them. The first time you get them that isn't from breeding from Dino Farm is that you'll get them from Big Game Hunter or Slayer. If you're getting the Slayer dinosaurs, you'll have a chance at receiving the eggs. We're going to do a pre-release. I'm not sure when.
It's in RC now.
When
So,
that is.
fingers crossed it'll be next week.
Nice.
So possibly next week, where you've got a rare chance from either Big Game Hunter, Slayer on Anachronia, and one more thing I can't name off the top of my head. But there'll be a rare chance to get one, so that when we do come to release Farming Herblore 120, there will be a few of these available for people just to start right away.
I think it's awesome that you can kind of gather these pets early ahead of time,
Yep.
and it gets people excited as well.
Yeah.
It brings people back to doing Big Game Hunter and so on. That's really cool.
They won't be tradable.
Not tradable, sorry.
They're not tradable.
Cool.
For this pre-release stuff.
For the pre-release.
They're not.
Is there a barn increase?
So can we just reiterate this, because we started talking about this really organically? Can we kind of announce it? Is it next week?
It's in RC at the moment, so presumably yes.
Okay, if you're watching this, next week on Monday, when we update the game, you will be able to obtain the new dinosaur eggs from the content on Anachronia. There we go. Okay, sorry, now we can continue conversation.
But that's kind of what he said.
No, it is, but it happened so nonchalantly.
It was very casual.
that it might be missed.
Because you were talking about dinosaurs doing the thing,
But
you know?
you asked a stupid question. How do make babby? I don't know, Shawnee. I tell you, the sex education in this country is terrible.
So, fingers
Pretty sure
crossed.
he knows.
Oh yeah. Never mind. Shawnee has make babby. Never mind.
Oh man, you can tell we're back from RuneFest, can't you? Jeez. So yeah, fingers crossed. If it passes RC, next week we'll see the pre-release, as it were, of the Ranch Out of Time, where you'll have the ability to essentially kind of get some animals ahead of time for that update. So fingers crossed you get lucky and start building up your little collections early. So it should be really good. I love that we're doing something like that as well. So it's not just day one swarm, and even though it's cool, I think it kind of builds up artificially into the update as well. Which is cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Mod Raven on the second stage talked about an increase in barn space. Is that worth talking about?
Yeah. So
There's an increase in barn space.
Is it with
All right.
is it with the pre-release or is it with the main update?
That'll be
you
the
don't
main
want
update.
The main update, cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
I presume you have to purchase that, I would guess?
Yeah, it'll be following the same sort of unlock progression, I guess, with magic beans.
Cool. Okay, let's go back to our presentation, please, John, because we're going to go on to our farming guild. Now, the farming guild. So, what's happened and what are we expecting with this update with this?
Well, it's got a tree on it.
I love how it looks.
Oh, good lord.
It's really good.
Yeah, no, essentially, obviously, we've brought back some seeds from Anachronia, planted them around the farm, and they've gone a bit wild. But Granny has given you guys permission to kind of update it and be the official farming guild. And one of the things I mentioned on the reveals is that we're introducing a slightly new way of training. Breezy, I'll probably let you talk about the farming requests a little bit. Just explain. What they are.
Oh, right. So I feel like
because we're not sure we were going to, and
yeah, we didn't. I don't think we talked. Did we talk about farming requests?
It was mentioned, but not in a lot of detail.
Yeah.
On the second stage, we talked about like what it might do to seeds.
sure.
So
I think if you guys are happy, we can deep dive into farming requests.
Yeah,
They
sure
are.
thing. Yep. So when you teleport to Manor Farm, currently you've got your free animal buyers that usually appear around the well. With this, I'm not sure if their place right now is final, but they're right next to the bank or the deposit box. You'll get another free NPCs that teleport there, and each of them will have a request, and that request will be, I want you to get me 50 seeds, 5 strawberries, and something else. And then your mission, if you choose to accept it, is to go and get 50 seeds and 5 strawberries, and then hand it into them to let them go off and start their own.
And what do you get from this?
So you'll get a bit of XP. I'm not completely aware of all the sort of rewards.
There's a
but
load of unique rewards.
Yeah, there's a lot of small rewards. I think, and I don't know if this is final, but I think I saw Viswax there. Is that true?
I think one of them gives Viswax. Depends on the NPC.
So Viswax is also there.
Yeah.
It works on a sort of the schedule is you'll get a daily one and a tri-daily one.
So every 3 days.
Which is every 3 days.
Tri-daily.
Yeah.
And then I forgot the other one. Which was the other one?
Weekly.
A weekly one, which is every Sunday.
Tri-daily.
Tri-daily.
Quince daily.
As in every 3 days, not
Yeah.
for everyone that, and they'll have different tiers of how many items and
So
stuff.
I presume it'd be more
they'll
items for the
require.
weekly one
Yeah.
and bigger rewards.
you got
Okay.
more time to
Yeah.
gather it.
Yeah, you won't be able to do the weekly ones, I believe, until you've got enough reputation for them anyway, because they're quite substantial. They're weekly because for some people it might take you a couple of days, especially Iron Men, in order to collect the things that you need for the thing. But the rewards are pretty decent. Obviously, they're predominantly for farming XP and reputation, but they also get you some interesting currencies as well throughout the game, depending on the NPC that you help out.
I think, so in terms of adding value to seeds, it's there's a lot of seeds that are currently, I wouldn't say redundant, but not used as much, especially by higher level players. And there's also other ways to get a lot of produce. So this sort of helps sink some of those lesser used seeds out of the economy.
Yes. One thing that I think ModToon would appreciate us letting you all know as well is that it works off of a seed system. Nah, I can't say that when we're talking about farming. In terms of random number generation, it works off of a seed system, so seeded.
Seed is fine, yeah. You can get over that.
Ridiculous term. So that means that everyone will have roughly the same requests depending on your levels and stuff like that. I can't remember if there's any variation there, but it's a bit like the traveling merchant at deep sea fishing. Everyone can kind of discuss what is today's farming request.
Okay. All right, let's go on to some of the bits inside of the skill going to 120, farming that is. And the first one is the remote farming machine.
Yeah, we just kind of touched on a few interesting things that you can unlock around the guild. So one of those is the remote farming machine, which is there ready to be built or at least fixed by you guys if you have a high enough invention level. Keeping in mind that you also need to have the spell unlocked as well so that you can use it.
As in the remote farm spell?
Absolutely.
Cool.
Yeah. It's a kind of a one and done, I've charged this and it works forever type of thing, so it requires a little bit of input and upfront costs, but once that's done, you can just keep an eye on all of your patches and also cure them from the farming guild, which is nice because we'll also have obviously the spirit tree network.
You can
and
cure them from
teleports.
the farming guild.
I think you can cure some patches from remote farming anyway, so it will work exactly the same.
Okay, cool. And then, wow, this is pretty awesome. A dedicated bloodwood tree in the farming guild now.
Yeah, that's it. It's
Yeah, it really is.
yeah.
I mean, you mentioned the spirit tree, though, didn't you?
Yeah.
At the time.
So one of the things we discussed about the Spirit Tree network was that we could add another teleport location, or we could make the Spirit Tree network a little bit more accessible. So if we added one right next to the Ardoin lodestone, for example, or at least very close to it, then you can get onto that network faster, which means you can get around a little bit faster. So instead of adding another output, we decided to make it easier to jump in. That was our design process, little decision process there. Took us probably like 3 or 4 conversations too many, but we got there in the end.
Cool. New cacti. What we got?
New cacti. Okay, so we've got dragon fruit and golden
I'll
dragon
set
fruit.
myself up so easily, shouldn't I?
Sorry, I'm going to call them cacti from now on.
You
yeah.
bully.
So,
Is that not how you say it? Am I missing something?
no, yes, you're perfect. Everything about you is perfect.
Should I just call them spiky boys from now on?
They are spiky boys. New spiky boys, everybody. So, yeah, some of you have already noticed in the chat that these are in old school as well, but that's good. We're trying to like synergize a little bit between the games. But yeah, we wanted to add a new cactus plant or seed or whatever, because obviously we only have the prickly pear, potato cactus and regular cactus. Adding a bit more diversity to the patch meant that we could make them a bit more viable as well, because at the moment generally people just kind of, if they're not planting herbs, then they're always planting fruit trees and regular trees for XP. Well, they're not with player-owned farm, but we're trying to make tree runs great again and all of that. So we'll include cacti in that, and a third constructible cactus patch on Anachronia. You'll meet a really cute little ancient zygamite called Goob, who doesn't really know what he wants to plant, but he finds out he wants to plant some cactus. So yeah, I just really like his dialogue. He's really cute. All the ancient zygamites are really cute. So thanks to people like Mod Days and Mod Ramen for making them like my favorite new characters.
All right, next up.
Mushy boys. All right.
Spory boys.
Fun guys.
Oh.
Yeah, we went there. Spory boys.
Keep going.
Yeah, I mean, these things, you'll be able to harvest the new mushrooms in quite a great quantity, so that'll help feed your zygamites on the farm, as well as other things that feed on mushrooms, but they're also used as potion ingredients as well for a load of the new potions, which we'll touch on later.
Awesome.
How'd you pronounce these?
Carambola,
Yep.
Chiku,
Yep.
and Garanya.
I would have said Siku, I won't lie to you, but anyway.
I know, and realistically, I should have put a H in it for people like you.
People like me.
Yes, cacti. Yeah, I saw one spelling, I typed it all out in all of the code and realized that a H would have been better, and just went, I'm not going through and changing like 54 references to this. Yeah, and also someone will be able to correct me on Garana or something like that, because one of my friends has like Brazilian family, and they told me how to say it, but I can't remember. I'm just going to call them iFruit because they look like little blinky boys. Yeah, Guarana. I'm getting thumbs up. Okay, Guarana. There we go. Got there in the end. This is the Seru discussion all over again.
Oh.
Yeah, I think we can pronounce these ones, right? Some fresh mango, some fresh avocado.
Nice. Very good reference for a good vine there. Well done.
Fresh lychee, yeah.
Very good.
And so you can. I kind of got a bit spicy with the cacti at RuneFest, and said, you know, Old School have put it as a tree, which is fine because it works for their system. We decided to add it as a cactus for the reasons I stated earlier, because they're technically a cactus as well. but we ran out of fruit tree space. I wanted to add mangoes, avocados, and lychees anyway, so we just decided to make them small trees and count them as bushes. That's a developer insight.
Oh, right.
Oh, very
so after taking the
good.
higher ground.
Yes,
Yeah.
I then became a massive hypocrite. But
Nice
Yeah.
work.
it happens,
And well, this needs no explanation, really.
doesn't it?
No.
They always told me money didn't grow on trees.
Expected this to get memed.
How do you like me now, Mum?
So are you able to kind of reveal mechanically how this is going to work? Like number-wise, are we able to reveal numbers yet? Or are we gonna
No.
do that?
No,
Okay,
no.
fine.
No numbers for now.
Level to use?
They
Very high.
are
Okay.
very high.
Oh, you're not giving the number?
Do you want us to?
Oh, no, I mean, it's up to you.
All right, 119 farming.
Yeah.
Well, there we go.
They're going to be the top end. They're going to be really nice. They're going to be drops from PVM and whatnot. It's going to be that sort of like when you get it, you're like, oh wow, this is a guaranteed. You know, it has a guaranteed value, so that when you finally get to your 119, maybe you have a couple of these. I believe you do need 99 to start getting them.
Correct.
Yep. So you need level 99 to start getting them. But when you're doing PVM from whenever you're 99 to 119 farming, you might have a few of these, and then when it comes to being able to finally,
Is it just PBM? How you
I
get
can't
these?
remember if we've plugged them into to other drop tables in different
Yeah.
parts of like.
Okay, so it's just
scaling and
playing
whatnot.
the game then.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Wherever you sort of expect to get
Yeah.
drops right now.
I'm tentatively thinking things like the bird's nests and whatnot
Yeah.
that you'd expect to
Yeah.
find.
Can
seeds
this,
from.
can this tree die when it's being grown, or does
No.
it just insta grow?
No, it doesn't insta grow. It will take some time to grow.
Okay.
But after some amount of time, you'll be able to go and just pluck, essentially cashbacks from it.
Is that seed tradable?
yes,
We don't think so, not right now.
Okay.
The design was that it would be like crystal acorns, just a little
Yeah.
bit more common.
That'd make it really hard to value, wouldn't it? if it's
Exactly.
Tradable and it's,
Someone said seeds from clues. We could probably look to do that if we've not already
That's
done that. But that might be a cool little reward, sort of like a rarer one to put in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can take a look at that.
Alrighty, and then the perks for the 120 farming cape are passive and inactive. Self-explanatory in their own right, but I mean, why these in particular?
The first one is really just sort of quality of life. It eases on the sort of steps you need to do things. And it just means that when you're going about your farm runs and whatnot.
So is this passive kick in when you plant a seed, or is it just when the cape's on?
That's a good question. I'm not actually quite sure, to be
Gotcha.
honest.
Okay.
I don't know if it's been implemented just yet.
Worth a double check then, I guess.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just basically takes away a step that you would always do during your farm runs. I know personally that there's times where I've planted ultra compost and forgotten a seed, or I've planted a seed and then forgotten to ultra compost, and I come back and I'm like, you know, and I get less yield and whatnot. Super or
And I presume if my cape applies the super compost, I can just put ultra compost over it if I wanted it to use ultra compost.
you should be able to, yeah.
Okay, so
yeah,
just so
you
I
should
don't
be
feel
able to.
forced into
We wouldn't
using.
stop you from doing that.
Cool.
Yeah. But
A
yeah.
couple of people asking about magic beans and money trees.
Oh, yeah, is the magic bean from Player on Farm going to work?
So
on money
if the
trees?
question is, do you get a money tree from magic beans? I don't think we've had that discussion, but I would say no.
No, I think because they don't know that we've changed it to an ultra growth potion
Yeah.
or something like that right now.
Should we quickly touch on that?
Please do.
Yeah, so we're changing the current magic beans from Player on the Farm to become
Instant.
an instant growth potion, which essentially means, so you buy the potion from the Manor Farm shop. You then take a seed. So for example, a magic seed. You plant that seed. You use the potion on it, and you'll instantly get a magic tree. The reason that we did that is because a lot of seeds with Player on Farms lost their value.
Mm-hmm.
We want to give that value back to seeds because that again affects things like PVM and scaling and whatnot, and like clue scrolls where you get your seeds from. It gives a little bit back
Panic buy beans.
to that.
They'll be converted in some way, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
There's a refund. Is that correct?
Yeah, there should be. If you've got it on the day of release, if you've still got magic beans and whatnot, you'll be.
The old
Fine.
MC title, is that going to be locked with this update?
Is that the one you get from the collection log?
Correct.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yep. You've got to recomplete the collection log with all the new dinosaurs and frogs and salamanders to
Perfect.
get it back again.
Worth a clarification there.
Yep.
Are base camp resources going to be used at all there?
Yes.
They are going to be used.
So you need to still buy the deed to be able to build a pen. And then once you've got that, you use base camp resources to actually build a pen. Whereas before you needed to use planks and nails, now you just need the resources. I can't remember the numbers off the top
That's
of my
fine,
head, but they're not final anyway.
They know they have to use it, so they
Yeah,
start
yeah,
having
yeah.
resources
So if you're mostly through base camp already, or even if it's already done, you can at least right now stack up on some resources until then.
Perfect. Okay, let's dive into Herblore to 120. First up, his name is something else. Weapon poison plus, the triple plus. So essentially a tier up poison, straight up.
Yeah, this one is very much does what it says on the tin, plus. I guess. I don't know. I don't know what you want to say.
So presumably stacks with Cinderbane and so on. So just
Yeah,
essentially the upgraded.
This is
potion.
essentially a new tier of poison that we're bringing into the game.
So something I want to ask, clarify very quickly when we get into Herblore. Obviously, these will require ingredients to make. I presume we're not going into them yet.
No, we won't disclose exactly what ingredients are required right now.
Perfect.
We can say that most of those ingredients are going to come from 120, bits of 99 to 120 farming.
Yeah.
Cool.
So you will need to be doing farming, or other people will be, and you trade with them to get the ingredients you need.
I'm just seeing a comment in the chat. Stupid for calling it plus. Right. Well, give me a really good suggestion that wouldn't be as funny.
Like it. I think that's quite.
We already have plus, so I guess.
Yeah,
we were aware of how ridiculous it is.
It is
That's the point.
stupid. It's funny. Yeah, I quite like it. Plus, Mod Ramen named it, so just blame.
I think this whole project so far has just been us banging our heads against walls, trying to think of names. When we came up with the name of the Elder Overlord, it's like, right, we've got Supreme, but like, we can't really go above Supreme. Like, what else is there? And then it's poisonous. We could use extreme poison, but we've already got weapon poison plus and then plus, so it'd be completely
Was there ever
inconsistent.
like a consideration of going to like regular super weapon poison, extreme weapon poison?
I mean, I guess we could go back and change names, but
I presume. I mean, I think it's there now, right? So we just roll with it.
Yeah, it's there right now. We wouldn't want to change anything that people are used to. We wouldn't suddenly want to change.
Ramen's in the chat. I discussed it, but no. There you go. Job done.
Weapon Poison plus, right, is one of the most annoying object configs as a RuneScape developer, because if you know anything about code, right, you type plus, and it means like I'm going to increment this number by 1. So you type in Weapon Poison plus, and it just breaks everything. It doesn't work. Like.
Yeah.
So thanks, whoever made that in 2005 or whatever.
Grace period on 120 farm in Herblore. Is there one?
Yeah, it's at least 6 months. We might extend it to 9.
Okay. There you go. A quick one out of the way there for you all. Next up, the prayer and summoning combo. Kind of does what it says on the tin, so to speak, there.
Yep.
So is this something that just restores over time, or is it just
It'll be a
burst.
like an instant. Basically, it's the same as drinking a prayer potion, same as drinking a summoning potion.
Just at the same time.
Just at the same time. It's a convenience potion, essentially. If you want to save space on
Awesome.
that, then yeah.
And then next up, charming potion. Now, what is the charming potion?
There was a bit of confusion internally when it was first discussed. It was something to do with love and whatnot, but
Oh, that was me. Don't worry. No, I think everybody apart from me was fine with this.
It's a potion that you drink where you drink it and then you do different skilling activities or PVM activities which would regularly give you charms, but it doubles them.
So essentially familiarization but in a potion.
Yes. Yeah.
And with stacks?
Stacks with familiarization and other
It doubles the
buffs as
base
well.
amount.
Yeah.
I see.
So anything that gives you +1 or whatever, like winter weekends or familiarization or blah, 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 then it doubles the base amount, and then it's not multiplicative or whatever. I hate that word.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Next up, Potion of Harvest and the Primal Feast. Right, food.
Do I just pitch this as I did it on stage
Sure.
to explain it?
Sure.
All right, cool. Okay, so you'll be able to make a new potion called the Potion of Harvest that when you're under the effects of said potion, when you harvest your regular allotment patches, you'll get mega awesome crops. Instead of things like watermelons, you'll get golden watermelons. Instead of things like sweet corn, you'll get rainbow sweet corn. Instead of things like cabbages, you'll get cannonball cabbages. We've also got things like heirloom tomatoes, red onions, and sweet potato. And and these are special. These are cool. I don't think they're 100%, or there might be 75%. I can't remember if we decided.
I think we changed it to be 100% and it replaces your produce. No more
yeah,
chance.
we much prefer that. So you choose to harvest these special mega crops instead of your regular potatoes. You'll get your sweet potatoes, and you use those alongside the meat from Big Game Hunter to make the Primal Feast. The Primal Feast is the new ultimate best in slot food. It's really cool. The whole point of it is that you can click it to unpack it in your inventory whenever you like. So it takes up 1 inventory slot, then you click it, and then it takes up 3, 4?
4, I think.
4, and each one of those 4 foods heals like as much as a sailfish or whatever. So you can you can just stay out and do loads of things without having to go to a bank. And a lot of people don't need food anyway, but for things that you need food for, this will make you last longer on an expedition or whatever.
And obviously in the artwork, what you're seeing there is of course not a potion, but the title does say Potion of Harvest, hence why we thought we clarify it, but the image you're seeing there, of course, is not a potion.
Yeah, and this is an initial concept as well. I think the final inventory icon won't look like this, but it kind of really gets the point across when we're presenting it.
Do you lose adrenaline when you unpack your feast?
When you unpack it, no. Only when you eat, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be pretty crap.
And then next up is the...
Ooh.
Oh?
Flasky boy. Okay, I'm working on this at the moment, and I'm making it really painful for you guys, I'm sorry. Okay, so this is a weird one. We are adding extreme prayer potions with Herblore to 120, and you'll be able to use extreme potions to charge this flask. So you take Flasky Boy with you, and you can basically click it, and it's probably got like 100 charges of extreme prayer. It's like a prayer reservoir, I suppose. Think of it like that. It's also a little bit like Masterwork to make. It has at least 8 production stages, I think, at this point.
Whoa.
You just got, you got to make the shell. You got to make, like, I'm adding a glorious chain type thing to it. You got to make some special golden blessed glass and some blue blessed glass as well. And yeah, it might be a pain in the butt for Iron Men, but I just see it as more of a big achievement. Like, I can't wait to make the whole thing from scratch myself, because I did that with Masterwork, and I found it really rewarding, and I was quite proud of doing that. So once you've got it, it's cool. You keep it forever. You just recharge it.
Awesome. Next up, adrenaline crystals. What are we doing with adrenaline crystals?
Yeah, I just put out a funny tweet about this. Timbo let us add, I say let us, like I begged him with all my soul and gave him money, cooked him dinner, took him on a date, all that, rubbed his back. I just said, hi mate, can we add adrenaline crystals in some form to regular like skilling and PVM. And so what we're doing is we're making it take a farming component and a PVM component, as they came from PVM anyway. It doesn't seem too bad. But yeah, you'll get like an uncharged one, you'll charge it, and then boom, you've got an adrenaline crystal ready to use. Because one of our new power burst potions, for example, which we'll touch on shortly, involves adrenaline restore as well. Ta-da! These things.
Fine.
You want to explain these?
Yeah, sure. Am I going to reveal 1 or 2 of them, or?
Yeah, I mean, we revealed 2 of them, I think, at RuneFest.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Didn't call them the names though.
Yeah.
We're pretty close to release as well.
So power bursts.
Wait, are we? Oh god.
Yeah.
So power bursts are a new type of potion. As you can see, they have a new vial and stuff. This will be the sort of new branch of potion that you can make. They are made in 4 doses, and power bursts mostly focus around the skilling aspect of things, but there are a couple of PVM ones in there as well. So one of them, for example, was the adrenaline one, which when drunk over a number of seconds, say 6 to 10 seconds, the numbers aren't final yet, your adrenaline will tick up. I believe, do you want me to say the percentage right now?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I believe it's currently 40% of your adrenaline that it heals, which is just above the super adrenaline we have in game.
Mm-hmm. So best in slot for adrenaline, instant adrenaline dose.
So if you use your Ring of Vigor and then use this within the next couple of seconds, you'll have 50%. You'll be able to use it fresh straight off the bat again. These do, however, have a cooldown. They're going to actually share a cooldown with the current adrenaline potions.
Yeah, like
well.
we're going to rename the adrenaline potion cooldown to power burst cooldown, and all adrenaline pots will
So if you
the
use
power
this,
burst
you
cooldown.
can also use an adrenaline potion alongside it.
Yeah.
We're not going to rename the original adrenaline and super adrenaline potions, but you can consider them power bursts henceforth.
Yep.
Gotcha.
So that's a really nice one to have. The other one that you spoke about on stage, was the HP doubling one.
Yes.
Yeah. So the HP doubling one is it's quite an interesting one. Again, for about 6 to 10 seconds, or however many seconds, it will double your pool of health. So let's just say your max is 10k, just as an example. It will then go to 20k. And then
Virago entry people are going to be so happy with this.
And then your current health is also doubled. So if you've got 6k right now, you'll go to 12k. So it'll be 6 out of 10 to 12 out of 20k.
Wow.
And then any damage you take within that time will just be dealt as normal. But after that time is up, your health will be halved. So let's say you're at 6k, you drink the potion, you go to 12k, you get hit for 4k. Now you're at 8k. It will be halved, so you go to 4k.
Okay.
That was a lot of math. I'm really sorry if that was confusing, but basically it means for the next 6 to 10 seconds, you'll take half damage.
Wow.
So if there's parts of a boss fight where you think it's going to be a little bit spicy, if you're about to get hit by Telos or
so much power,
Virago or whatnot, and you think you're not going to survive it, you might want to quickly drink this. It's almost, it's sort of like, it complements like Masterwork in a sense too.
Mm-hmm. I've just realised, I think Calfight Kin solos are going to come back in play now. From this.
Yeah, that's pretty true as well.
Yeah,
wow.
There's a lot that can happen with things like this.
Yeah. And then I guess the other one that I can talk about is the working name is the power burst of movement, which means for again 6 to 10 seconds.
Oh my lord, Onslaught's going to be filthy.
Yes.
Oh my god.
For a little while.
I didn't actually think of that.
Wow.
Yeah, that's quite nice.
Wow.
Mod Camels brought it up once, and we just went, yep, it's going to be cool.
Yeah. The power burst of movement is one that lets you use Surge, Escape, and Bladed Dive unlimited. Of course, with like a couple of cycles of cooldown for the next however many seconds that we put the final number as. I won't release it now. I won't show off anytime soon. But there's a GIF of me using it in the desert.
Oh, it's definitely a
Bladed Dive, and I got from the north of the desert to Narda within the time of the potion.
You got to Menethos to bloody Fremenic Isles. Or
yeah. These things have to go through balancing, but it's definitely a nice one. It's a niche one, which might come handy in a few maybe dangerous moments at bossing. If you do clue scrolls and you really like to race and fill in a lot of clues within an hour, you'll be able to drink one of these every 2 minutes whenever you want to do your sort of scan clues or your dig clues and whatnot.
Cool. And then the Elder Overload.
Yes. Okay. So. Everyone can pretty much understand what this is going to be if you're familiar with overloads. So this is 17% of your base combat skills plus an extra 5. I think it ends up being 21, roughly, if you're 99. So you get up to 120
so, yeah,
combat.
Yep.
Yeah. Which is nice. Obviously, it's like an extra, I can't remember what the actual numbers are, it's an extra percent or 2 of accuracy.
Just add +1 and +1% on the Supreme, right? Basically.
Yes. Yeah, basically. It's like an extra 1 or 2% of accuracy. It also, obviously your prayers, when they're active, are often scaled on your overall prayer level. So it means that prayers are increased in power as well. And yeah, like the point of a lot of these potions is to power creep a little bit, I will admit that, but also it means that we can make some tougher bosses for once, because you guys will have all of the tools to beat them. So that's really exciting for people like myself and Ramen and quite a few of the other devs who like making boss fights. But essentially it means we can make some crazy big challenges in the future, which is a good thing, and only can be a good thing for the game.
So obviously, Breezy, you were involved in the recipe discussion, as it were, for the Elder Overload. Do you want to clarify?
So right after we announced that at RuneFest, there was a lot of questions about what happens to my current Supreme salves that I got in my bank. Obviously, people are concerned about all of that time and money that they put into it. I put out a tweet yesterday to confirm that they won't be lost. You will be able to upgrade them to an Elder Overload. that recipe isn't final. We saw a lot of the feedback, and we are still in discussions with it. You know, nothing's final up until it's out, and even then it's not final. But but basically, we just want to reassure people that what they've currently got in their banks in terms of like supreme salves and whatnot aren't going to go to waste and be redundant when this update is out. They still will be able to use them. But yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. That was that.
Grador can get one hit with these new pots.
Oh, Grador can
If
be
you're moving
one-ticked
on,
anyway.
one thing that I just wanted to clarify was people were asking about the power burst of movement in the wilderness. We're not letting you use it.
So
in the
the
wilderness.
movement thing doesn't work in the
No,
wilderness.
it's just like double surge and escape. It's not allowed in the wilderness.
Cool. All right, let's go to the last one, or last two on 120 Herblore. Bombs. Okay. First of all, did we reveal all of them? Is that correct?
We revealed the main base 3, but
Okay.
that's not to say that more won't come along the line.
So should we elaborate on the base 3, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, they're very, very simple in concept. One of them is Poison Cloud, one of them is Sticky Mess, and the other one is a Vulnerability Cloud. So you throw them at a target area or creature, and it will go off in a 3x3 around it and linger for, do we know times? Is it 10 seconds?
It's currently 6. No, wait. I think it's 10 seconds. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is all pending feedback as well.
Yeah.
Currently.
Even still, though, like the possible, like having golems around you at the font area
Yes.
at Telos,
T5
throw a
Telos.
Yes.
bomb down and wreck
Yeah,
them. Like
exactly.
there's that possibility. Like,
There's if you're doing AOD and you've got the minions.
yeah.
In the middle, you can throw one bomb down and invuln them all at the same time, provided it hits things like the AOD crystals and whatnot. If you're doing Slayer, and if you really feel like using one of these, I mean, I think they'll end up being quite expensive. But you can throw like a poison one down during doing Abyssal Demons if you really want to.
Okay. Yeah.
Do they work off global cooldown?
So we're discussing them having their own specific bomb cooldown.
Okay.
But yes, essentially.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can chain ability and also throw it at the same time.
All right.
Cool.
And eat and jellyfish and Sarabrew.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
whatever.
They'll they currently stack, so they will stack in your inventory. So it's not a case of I can only take one or.
Did we reach a conclusion on the discussion around hit chance with bombs?
So yeah, so we had quite a bit of a discussion regarding hit chance. I don't know if we have a conclusion to it.
Okay, well, I mean, it's probably good to get a chat going then.
Yeah.
Vulnerability, obviously, in bomb form, and on one thing to clear up, I saw an effect. I saw a comment about the effect saying vulnerability for 6 seconds. Lol, like that's not what I meant.
Oh no.
A small cloud appears for 6 seconds, and any creature that walks into that cloud is affected by vulnerability for the 1 minute that it normally would. So that's how that works.
And anyone who walks in as well.
Yeah,
correct?
exactly.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yep. That area is there for 10 seconds. Anything that walks in or was in it when you threw it will be affected for.
Well, that completely changes the perception of that one for some people, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I feel
yeah,
that's probably
definitely.
worth elaborating on.
Yeah.
So
Sounds amazing.
and again in the chat, will range and melee be able to use the vuln bombs? And that's kind of what we were discussing.
Melee and Vuln, oh man.
But it is completely possible now. We
It
have
is, but not solo.
we have ingenuity
Well,
of
we
the
have
humans,
ingenuity, yeah, you're right.
and that's what that's for. Essentially, that's one of its sole purposes to exist, and we don't necessarily want to make that pointless. So Timbo, I think, is requesting that we make the Vuln bombs require a usage of ingenuity of the humans ability. I can't remember what we call it now.
And it basically is that.
The same thing, yeah. So that's TBD, but obviously, like if you have very strong opinions on that, then put them in my in pile and I will read them.
So is it a case of you can throw it to an area in certain space from you, or can you only put it underneath you?
It's anywhere within 9 tiles, which is max range.
9 tiles?
Yeah.
Wow.
Which
Okay.
is current max range with range.
Yeah, which means that you affect 10 tiles away from you, I think. Technically, because it's a 3x3.
Yes, yeah.
I think, what was it, in one of the play tests, we were able to just AFK Astalan without having engaged her in a fight, because you just throw bombs next to the tile that she's on and it damages her over like 4 or 5 minutes.
Wow.
You just kill her without ever having been a target.
Well, it takes a long
Straight up.
time. It
Yeah.
takes a long time to.
But
How do you play test?
we'll fix that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oopsie.
Wow, all right, we got one more. If we can go back to the thing, which is the perk of the 120 Herblore.
Yeah, so this one's really cool. We were even talking about it a little bit today in the respect to Elder Overloads. Essentially, we're adding a new recipe to the recipe list, which is a batch of overloads. You'll be able to make a batch of overloads by using, I think it's 5 overloads is created in a batch by using 4 overloads worth of ingredients, hence the 20% fewer ingredients. That counts for Supreme Overloads and Elder Overloads, and I can't remember if it works for salves, but I don't think it does currently.
I don't think it should.
And it probably shouldn't. So yeah, we'll see. That one's more like a look. I'm done with Herblore for now. I just need to make more Overload stock.
Does that stack with the Flash Powder Factory helm? I think it is.
Knowing Mod Tomb, it almost definitely does.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, we'll see.
Can you release levels required for some potions closer to the time, unless you guys want to right now?
We won't release exact levels, but we will say you'll be able to make the... See, we haven't spoken about this particular mechanic at all, and it's worth mentioning because it's something that we know is getting done for release. You will actually be able to make the Elder Overloads fairly early in the leveling track, but you will get better at making them with further unlocks in the skill.
I'm not sure if that applies to Elder Overloads. That currently applies to Power Bursts.
Any other...
Should be Power Bursts,
we should discuss that.
Bombs, and Elder Overloads, but maybe we're not doing Elder Overloads because of the perk. Is that correct?
Yeah, but also
Okay.
their ingredients aren't. I guess we could do some stuff with it.
Okay.
We'll have to discuss it.
We'll
Yeah.
talk. We'll talk to Mod Tomb because he's got it in his head that we're doing Elder Overloads.
Right. Okay.
Do any of these potions require recipes in Prif?
So anything that uses a sort of like crystal potion flask, essentially, yes. So that's a spiritual combo. That's the prayer and summoning combo. The Elder Overload
And the Salve.
and the Elder Overload salve will require those.
Do you have to find a recipe page, or can you just unlock them like you could with the Aggro Overload?
We were discussing putting them in places. Currently, Mod Ramen added the spiritual prayer one through just being able to buy it for 1 million GP. Whether or not we stick with that or we put it somewhere, I'm not quite sure. If you guys have suggestions for places you'd like to see it, I guess shoot that our way. But yeah.
Awesome. All right. I think that's all the 120 stuff. We've covered as much as we can. There's way more as well. The important thing to note as in what's coming up is, if all goes well next week, we'll see the release of the pre-release of the Ranch Out of Time animals that you can get via Anachronia. So keep an eye out for that one. But yeah, we've covered a lot there. So thank you guys so much.
Yeah, it's all right. We're looking forward to it. Like I'm playing my player-owned farm a little bit more as well. I will say one thing, because there was a discussion on Reddit, probably over the past day or two as well, about, we've nerfed player-owned farm and then extended the skill to 120, and it seems a bit underhanded, but I'll explain that now with essentially 1 or 2 sentences. When Ranch Out of Time releases, you will have double the pens. So your XP is going to, at the very least, double, bearing in mind that the dinosaurs will be quite a big step up in experience. So you are getting a huge chunk of XP with this. That makes the nerf, in hindsight, seem a lot more sensible, don't you think? So
Yeah, makes that gradient as you level up through farming far more sensible.
Yep. And not to mention also like tree runs, if you're into that.
Yeah.
On top of both of these things for the new trees.
What level are the frogs and salamanders?
So frogs and salamanders. So the salamanders come at 102.
Yeah.
So they will be post 99, but frogs and Jadinkos do come pre 99.
Yeah.
So you will be able to go and interact with the small and medium pens. The small pens use frogs, and the medium pens take Jadinkos. You will be able to use that level 42 and level 72 or plus 76, I believe.
So everyone's going to have access to frogs and Jadinkos at the start anyway.
So there's not an ETA as a specific date for this update, but I believe we've said.
I believe you said November.
Yeah, I think,
correct.
I think one thing to also clarify is that they're not separate. Like Ranch Out of Time,
They're all.
and 120 farming and Herblore is not separate. I've seen people ask if there's a release date.
It's all one update.
It's all one. Like Ranch Out of Time is essentially part of farming 120, the
That's super
dinosaurs.
chunk. That's 3 large updates on one.
Yeah, yeah,
crazy.
yeah, exactly. The dinosaurs are all throughout 99 to 120 and parts of like 42 and 76 as well. It's a lot. There's a lot coming.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much.
No worries.
All right. So this is the bit where it's just me and Dave now, because we're going to talk about timelines that you showed off.
Yes,
and,
absolutely.
Also, just to...
So hard to keep quiet for a bit.
I just want to just jump in.
I was really trying, like physically trying.
John, can you tell me if it's on the timeline slide? It is.
Yeah, we got it.
Perfect. All right, let's bring it up. Okay, so this is what you revealed at the end. I've completely forgot it's going to have the animations.
Looks
Even
fancy.
better. Right, come on then.
Yeah.
I will.
Battle 3.
I
So
will
obviously
seamlessly you in.
we won't go over the updates we've gone over for a third time. I think that's probably too much.
Yep.
But there's archaeology. There is the triple threat, as I'm calling it. It's not going to be called
Triple threat.
The triple threat. Eldor's dungeon. Then there's the quests. Yes, I remember now. And then it was the additional stuff. So first of all, Orphan. Yep. So yeah, Orphan's great. We definitely, when we built Anachronia, knew that we were going to come back with archaeology. And there's obviously, you may have found some or seen some ruins on Orphan, and you think, wait a minute, what's beneath that? And we've already got a kind of a storyline we want to delve into with it. Yeah.
And
we'll
that's
be
what we
doing
have
that.
for this huge island, right? So
Exactly, and what Orphan allows us to do is explore Herblore 99-120, as well as Anachronia, and also Archaeology 99-120. So this is real kind of top-end stuff. Yeah, so like working title of Game Pets. We've been talking over this today, and we want to kick off a competition this month. So if you remember Combat Pets, there was this kind of big community effort to create some fantastic looking pets. We're going to do the same for the areas of the game that haven't had any kind of status pets. So, I mean, these might change, but I'm thinking things like Clue Scrolls Farm, ports, they make a lot of sense. There's some other curveballs that we've been talking about, you know, challenges, seasonals, and things like that.
Love the announcer voice there.
Sorry. Previously. Yeah, and that, we'll just see if Prehistoric can come up with another winner.
Oh no.
No, let's get some winners in there. And yeah, we're gonna. One of the reasons we want to do this is because we're expanding temporarily the team, just so that we can get a few updates. The reason, if you remember back to weapon diversity, when we cancelled that, there wasn't really an update to put in its place. We don't want that situation to happen again, and this gives us that opportunity. So yeah, we won't have those gaps.
And then, of course, the Aslandra quest.
Yeah,
of
we
course,
talked
we'll
about
cover that. And then...
Yeah, so this allows us to talk a little bit more about the other seat. I'm hoping... Sorry, seat. The team, sub-team.
Yes.
Sorry, seat's a very internal name for it. The idea of pairing up Mod Timbo with another developer and tester, and they will look to remaster loved, iconic... Well, sorry, not necessarily iconic. Loved areas of the game. Re-inject a bit of... reward, so it's worth doing and value. Maybe look at things graphically, maybe, but certainly quality of life and maybe new challenges as well. And this hits with managing miscellanea first, which came really high up in the annual survey. So we pulled that one out just to show that we can actually do some stuff from the annual survey. So he's looking to have more workers to unlock, more areas of kingdom to unlock, and just make it worth doing. So that's cool. That'll give you an idea of what that sub-team will be making. And the idea is, you know, hopefully it'll work this way, is that those two sub-teams will be producing content so regularly, so you get that quest, remaster,
Okay.
something akin to that, at least regular heartbeat throughout the year.
So I'm going to be honest, we're not going to be able to show these. Only they were shown in Mod Pips' presentation at the end, but we don't have the videos to hand. But what I will say is, at the end of the keynotes, Mod Pips was brought on and he talked about tech improvements that we've been doing with the core experience team. And I think the best way I can cue this up is to say that we have uploaded the keynote on YouTube today. If you go towards the end of that video and watch that section, you can see the videos and they will do a better job of explaining it than we will.
Except when the audio goes.
Yeah, I think the keynote one.
Yeah, we've recovered it.
Yeah.
Oh,
There we go.
marvellous, marvellous.
The
Yeah,
stream
it's
just
the
went
stream.
down. But yeah, the tech highlights, absolutely go check them out.
Yeah, I
for
mean,
sure.
it's got the hyper caveat of these are just things, prototypes that we're playing around with. There's some that are more imminent than others, but please, like, this is the kind of area this and the new team, the core experience team, are looking. This is exciting. We want to do more of this. And we've dedicated such a large proportion of our team to do it.
Right, let's go full screen on the camera. Let's get talking about, as you called it, Epic Jam.
Yeah, Yeah, this is nice.
Right,
nice
what we
little
got?
thing.
What we got?
So
I love this little empty space. By the way. We'll be filling this couch in just a moment.
yeah,
but, yeah.
like we've edged too close to each other.
It's fine. It's okay. Sure.
Oh my god!
Focus. There you go. How's
Too much
that?
zoom. It's yeah.
What are you doing, John? Oh, you want to do one individual camera? Lordy. Anyway, Epic
Right.
Jam. Let's
Epic
not
Jam
get thrown off of
kicks
that.
off on Thursday. We want to do it on Thursday so that the devs can chat to people at RuneFest and start scribbling down in their pads ideas for updates to do. But the aim is that there's a number of things we're trying to do to get back to regular updates. This is one of them, and we put together a bounty board as well for the team. Lots of prompts that are ideas of really good content. Things like collated collection logs. What are you doing? Like collated collection logs, things like that. We can do them quickly, do them in those 2 weeks, and hopefully off the back of that release them pretty soon. But really, it's an open space for the team to make stuff with a view of getting it to the hands of players, and also to have fun, eat pizza, and heckle each other's projects.
So we need to do a bit of backstory. In the past, we've done these jams over a weekend, and
Yes.
that's it. This is
A 2-sprint thing. Sorry, a 2-week thing.
Yes,
Not
I was gonna- 2
One-
sprints?
One sprint, 2 weeks. Get it right.
so 2 weeks where the people involved can
Yep.
jump in.
Yep.
We do need some caveats to mention, of course, that it's not as engaging in that sense. We don't want to feel
Yeah.
like the pressure's on them to constantly, like.
I mean, yeah. So often when we're on Discord, like actively all the time, it probably eats, or can eat, up to half of the time you could be spending on the project.
Yeah.
We're going to pull back a little bit and try that this time. I do appreciate a lot of you liked almost getting involved regularly on Discord. I'm not to say it won't happen. Like occasionally like a moderator might come on and ask for
yeah, but it's
names
not
of
to say
things.
there's going to be no progress updates.
Yeah.
And of course, when it's done,
There'll be things like this,
Yes.
where we'll get to show what we've made, that kind of thing. But we really want to give a dedicated 2 weeks, almost no interruptions. We've pulled away all meetings. We've tried to have no process there whatsoever, just so we can get to making things. Hopefully people aren't too frustrated by that. I know there are lots of people who love to get involved.
a 2-week jam means, like, I have to say it, right? It's like, I know Tap hasn't been of him for a while, but in essence, like, it's kind of that Debbie,
spirit.
like,
Yeah.
spirit of Tap, right?
Yeah, but with a very much an impetus to giving people, players something they'll want, something
Yeah.
that has impact. So it's not necessarily as selfish. No, that's the wrong term. The motivation isn't necessarily just to make something for myself. It is really to make something for players.
Awesome. And yeah, you can look forward to that this month, and then I think we show it at the end of this month, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, we'll try to get as many of those in front of you as possible.
Perfect. Okay, I'm going to ask 2 people to come over to the couch now if they are okay to join us. One of them we spoke to on stream for the first time over RuneFest. This camera work is phenomenal. Go that side, I'd say, JD. So, yeah, we're going to have
Oh, I love it.
Mod Warden joining me to my right. As a quick summary, again, in case people didn't see you at RuneFest during the segments, who are you and what you do? And what do you do, should I say?
Well, I'm Shawnee's dad, all right?
No, he's already got one. He's got one.
But yeah, I'm the
Memes. Oh, God.
but yeah, I'm the new executive producer for RuneScape. Only been with the team now, I think 5 weeks. So drinking from the fire hose, as they say, getting to know everyone, and basically I'm responsible for all things RuneScape at the end of the day. And I've got a fantastic team to help support me on that day to day. And so it's a lot of, right now, it's a lot of one-on-ones and trying to figure out how things are working and what the history and legacy is of RuneScape. And quite frankly, I'm a RuneScape noob at the end of the day. But there's plenty of time.
I've seen you playing. I've seen you play.
A little bit, poking around.
Wants to learn it.
That's right. And yeah, that'd be it's important to me to get to that point, right? And so yeah, so that's where we're there.
And obviously, I think it goes without saying that you two are going to definitely end up communicating a lot.
Yeah, we go for walks and chats and things like that.
Long walks in the park.
Well, it's funny. The first one-on-one we had, it was like, "Hey Dave, let's go for a walk." What do you mean you go for a walk?
This is how it works. We had a walk and talk.
That's a
It was
walk and
good.
talk, yeah.
I thought I was getting fired.
No, they don't, that would never happen, let's be real. And yeah, I mean, it goes without saying, obviously we introduced my Mod Rogue and Mod Bolton as well when we were on that, who are involved in esports and influencers. But I'm sure we'll end up talking to them at one point down the line. It's a kind of ambitious question to ask you, Warden, but I mean, plan-wise for RuneScape, what are you thinking?
Well, I think there's a lot of heart and soul in RuneScape, and I see RuneScape as kind of like the sleeping giant. There's been so much that's been accomplished to date, and there's, I think, so much more that the world can see about that. So it's really trying to continue that, figuring out what that North Star is, and really take a look at our pillars and what we care about, and so it's a lot of kind of like vision questing, I guess, along that, and trying to maintain things that support the current player. But I care about new blood as well, so yeah, it's kind of a bit of that. I don't want to be this kind of fly by night kind of force in the team, so that matters a lot to me as well. And how do we make things sustainable? How to make sure the team is sheltered and that they can do things like the jam sprints.
Yeah, you're a big force behind that, so thank you.
Yeah, and it's like our business as usual needs more creativity in our day-to-day, and so it's going to be looking for some of those opportunities, really.
Awesome. JD, we got you on here as well. I have to ask you, RuneFest, are you happy with how everything went?
Yeah, I think so. I think I'm still running on fumes. But no, it seems that everybody who went absolutely had the time of their lives. And from what I saw from the Twitch chat, from what I saw from everybody who was posting about it on social, everybody seemed to be very happy with the reveals. And hopefully, after having the chance to sort of sit down and chat about it for almost 2 hours now, you're even more excited about it, which is great. I personally had a great time. Managed to go to Spoonfest on Thursday night.
You got in?
I did get in. I managed to get in.
It's impossible to get in.
I got
spoons.
We had obviously the Golden Gnomes, got to present Prez with the community champion, which was amazing.
Got a lovely picture as well. The absolute surprise.
Absolute surprise, yeah, absolute
awesome.
Shock. I sent it over to her yesterday actually, and she was like, "Oh God." No, that was kind of the highlight for me, I think. But yeah, it was great to see everything that materialised on the day. I personally loved the cook-off. I thought it was unbridled chaos, which was fantastic. But yeah, no, it was a great day, and I think everybody who went seemed to really enjoy it, which is the important thing.
Something I forgot to mention, of course, what was said at the end of the keynote was Android Early Access is this year as well. So that's opening up as well.
Yeah.
Which is very exciting.
Locking down a date now, which is
so
very
it's
exciting.
no longer capped to 75,000 people. It's now going to, when it happens, go into early access, and everyone with Androids can then jump in, which is awesome.
It. Play on the loo.
Which we'll definitely see. Play what?
Play on the loo.
Oh, play on the loo. That explains that one.
I'll have to start timing toilet breaks. That's
why we can't get a toilet here.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything else we need to cover? I think we've gotten everything.
Yeah. I think just something you mentioned earlier, Shawnee, was about bringing all of the new staff onto the sofas, and being able to be kind of more. Obviously, we have our kind of group of people that people see regularly, but we'd love to get more staff on the sofas as well to showcase what it is they're up to, find out a little bit more about what they do within Jagex. So you might be seeing some new faces on the sofa in the next few weeks.
Okay. All right. I think before we end it, some news I have to share with you all. I don't know how to approach this really, but. I've been given the opportunity to tell you all live, as there will be a video afterwards as well. But as of the end of this month, I will be leaving Jagex. But what this means is, I promise you this, it's not bad news, okay? I promise you. God, guys, please, I'm begging you. It's not bad news. I'm having an opportunity to take a role where I can progress in my career. And I get to be home with my family more, and I can promise you this, Jagex did everything they could to want to keep me. They threw everything they could at me, but I have this role, an opportunity that I will be taking to go on, and for the people on the couch with me, people who work on production, everyone downstairs on localization, to the HR guys, to the first floor, the guys working on player support, everyone else, the second floor of the RuneScape team, the old school teams, the R teams, the audio teams, IT and so on. Like, I've had a connection with all of them. They're all amazing at what they do. I wanted to say a swear word, but I'll hold back on that one.
You're leaving, you can do what you want.
They're fucking amazing at what they do, okay? It's as simple as that. We have so many passionate people in this game, and you may not see them, but I promise you this, they are amazing at what they do. They inspire me to do everything I can for you guys, and that's the biggest thing for me. I've been here for almost 6 years. I've had an amazing time. I joined here on a 1-month contract, and I was only expected to be here for a month. I'm still here almost 6 years later. Couldn't get rid of me. And yeah, I don't know what more to say. I've hosted these streams for almost 4 years. I've done BTSs, RuneFests. I've had these wonderful guys here. Even Mod Warden, who's just joined, like, support me in every way, shape or form. It's been amazing. As far as I'm aware, I'm still doing these streams until the end of the month, unless otherwise. And we're going to celebrate this because this isn't bad news. It's a celebration of what I've had the opportunity to do here, which is try to be amazing for all of you. And that's the biggest thing for me, is try and make sure that you all feel listened to in some way, shape or form. I think these guys may say something, I'm not sure, but I'm going to stop talking now before I completely lose it.
Who's chopping onions?
Oh.
No, I mean, Shawnee, I've known you for 5.5 years. You started about 2 months before I did. And we've always worked really, really closely together. And I'm not going to lie, I'm absolutely gutted, but I know that you're doing it for the absolute right reasons. And I know that you'll be successful in whatever you choose to do moving forward. And I'm proud that you've come into this company as a 19-year-old with, I'm not going to lie, horrendous hair.
I mean, I won't lie, it has gotten bad at times as well.
And you've come out of it with a family. You've come out of it so much more kind of mature than you came in. And I think that's a testament to you as to how much you've grown as a person since being in this company. And I know you'll be successful wherever you go.
Yeah, amen. Like you've been, even when you're on Block and Load, you're a kind of a whirlwind of enthusiasm and positivity. And I knew for a while that, you know, we would love to have had you on RuneScape, and then we got you. I was so
I only got in by the skin of my teeth.
Oh no, well,
I was close. I won't lie. I only just made it. Like,
and then
I joined on the day of the 15th anniversary of this game.
Yeah.
And it was the month Invention released, and that I think that helped.
What
me.
a chaotic month to come in.
Was.
Yeah. But you helped get, well, I mean, even in that instance, you got Invention in the right place. That was a big community challenge and you did it. But like, I think I speak for the chat that you'll be royally missed. There's something that you bring, your poor pronunciation, your wonderful reaction faces.
I'll never be able to hear the word "thock" again.
And just, you're an utter charmer, and I love spending my RuneScape time with you. And sitting next to you is going to be, it's been you've added so much to my experience here, and it's going to be a real miss, real miss.
I'll throw a few notes as well. Getting to see the RuneScape streams before starting and trying to, it's like, is this what I want to do? That's all part and parcel of it. And of course, you're welcome back anytime. But like we were chatting today, family is the most important thing. That's why you're doing this.
Yes.
And geez, I get all choked up on this stuff.
Yeah. A little boulder boy.
That's right.
I mean,
I think John might have cued something actually.
if we cued something, go ahead, play it, whatever it is. What have we got? It's just this. It's of course. We'll just let the video tell the story.
Too soon, I feel. Too soon.
I mean, if there's ever a way I could be written out of this company, there's no better way.
I think the fact that you're willing to do this sort of thing says so much.
Yeah.
Retaining your dignity even through that.
I'd do it again in a heartbeat.
There's going to be one hell of a montage.
We're going to have to.
On the,
get some Celine Dion in the background.
Yeah, so it's Tuesday the 29th, isn't it? It's the
29th, yeah.
Which is a live stream
day. It's a stream day, ironically.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
I don't know how that's going to go, but...
We're going to make it into, we're going to bring birthday cakes in, milk chugging contests.
Shawnee's birthday.
Oh, how about that smelly fish?
Not the fish tromming.
Oh, that was one of my highlights actually.
Games last 2016.
Yeah.
Jesus. Okay. Well, I can't keep this going because otherwise I'm just going to ball more and more. Okay. it's been a 2-hour stream of everything there was to do with RuneFest. As you saw, we had so much fun talking about what's coming up, and it's very, very exciting. But I think apart from that, we'll leave it there. For everyone who's joined us in the stream from upstairs, thank you for you guys watching. Thank you for you guys on the couch. Thank you.
No, thank you, Shawnee.
Let's give Shawnee a round of applause.
Come on, everyone.
Everyone at home.
Do it.
I think we'll wrap up there, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you so much for watching, and as always, take care. Have a good one.